Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Xbox Nation, the best goddamn podcast on Wednesday, period. Sorry if I hurt your feelings. Go fuck yourself. You know, it is what it is. I got a really good show for you. I want to apologize last week. I know we had a really cool show planned, and it was still good, but it was due to my own fault and some issues. Like, you guys missed the first part, which was really cool. And then the second part, we rebounded, and I thought it was still a good show. But I appreciate everybody that stuck around. And, you know, I know it's always a pain in the ass when there's one link and then that fucks up and then you go to another link and, you know, like but you guys all supported and showed up. So I really appreciate it. Thank you guys for coming out to Xbox Nation. Let me get some introductions. The band that needs no introduction, the one, the only, Mooch.
What's up, buddy? How are you? Listen, I got news for you. I'm running a little slow today because I was up till about 3 in the morning playing Fortnite. And I know we were going to get into it tonight, but the game is something that I didn't expect. You know, sometimes it's a lot of like other things in life. I purposefully don't usually play betas. Now I'll play something like a Destiny beta because there's no harm, no foul there. I know what I'm getting into. But I really don't dive into betas too often. And this is an odd thing to say. Fortnite's an open, closed beta, whatever. But I didn't know much about it. And going into that game, Crap, we're going to have to really pick it apart today. It's a lot more than people think. And it's kind of trickery here because it's going to be free next year. But it might ultimately, it's kind of worth your $40 this year. So, I mean, I just so into that game. Played it till almost 3:30 in the morning. That's just unheard of.
Yeah, that is crazy. That is absolutely insane. It is a good game, though. I have to say that 100%. We also got Dealer Gaming. What's up, bro?
Oh, not much, man. I too have been playing Fortnite, and yes, it's absolutely insane that we're all playing it together. But sorry, I got an echo. I'm tripping right now. It's gonna be a great show. Also, before we start, I want to take a minute and kind of tackle something that I tackled on RDX. Because I still get people that didn't really hear what I said on the podcast last night about games with gold. I reported the wrong fucking games, and I will not be able to live this down because it's very rare for me to be completely off on this, and it was kind of a leak from Argentina, Xbox Argentina. Didn't turn out to favor me, so I apologize if I got any hopes up, and hopefully we can all move on and you know.
Oh my gosh, dude! You got like there's these reports. We do rumors. We do stuff. I mean, what does people want?
I know people freak the fuck out like this fucking lying asshole. Even though I linked the Xbox Argentina website, the source, and everything, people still freak out. So either way, I do feel like an asshole because that's totally not routine at all for me. I might have done this one other time in 2 years. And you know, I just want to put that out there. You know, my bad. Let's learn. I'm never reporting on games with gold early again. That's what I'm trying to say.
Hey, you know, you could even make the argument that the newer one is even better as far, you know what I mean, the one that came out. So I mean, I don't really necessarily think of it one way or the other.
Either way, I do appreciate everyone's continuous support. This podcast is going to be great. We've got Attack the Glitcher on. We got Mooch. We got Bot Hammer, Noof Nukem as well. It's going to be great.
I probably won't even bot that much this podcast.
There's Bot Hammer. What's up? What's up, Troll Hammer?
Not too much. I rarely even troll, so you should cut that shit out. I hardly even troll. Come on.
No, you troll a little bit, but I'm sure you're probably ready to hop in and have a good time and add your normal like fun 2 cents. And we got Noof Nukem. What's up, bro?
Yeah, baby. What can I say? This is one of the most dynamic fucking podcasts or panels of people you will ever get in one place at one time. Yes, it is always a pleasure to be here. And no, I have not played Fortnite, but I can tell you I'm farting just about every night. So, yeah, let's get ready to roll this stuff.
Hey, you play Fortnite.
Yeah, Fortnite. Hey, if you leave a voicemail for MNC Mornings, you have a chance to win with the Wheel of Wonder. Everybody who calls and leaves a voicemail can win a copy of the Xbox One version. Yeah, and then you can join in on the hilarity as well.
It's a done deal. It's already been sent.
Oh, okay, good shit, man. I bet J-Dubs is loving that, man. And kind of making a debut, a little bit of a smaller YouTuber, man. I've seen some of his stuff. It's pretty decent. Attack the Glitcher. We're gonna call you Glitch. I guess.
That works. I'm cool with that, and as well with you guys jamming away on the Fortnite. And Dealer, when I saw that leak, dude, I flipped out because I thought Condemned was coming, and I like lost my mind. But I was like, oh my god,
That's what I'm talking about, bro. Like it happens.
It does. It's all good. I mean, like Crab said, you know, it's rumors. You know, it's not all set in stone. That's why they're called rumors.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, hey, just as we start this, man, I get my Path of Exile beta key. So that is pretty kick-ass, huh? I don't know if any of you guys...
Now, is that can you just sign up and you get it? I mean, here's the thing.
Yeah,
I saw
they just put it up today. I signed up right when they put up the link, and then I just got it.
Here's the thing. What about a tale of two goddamn stories in the same generation? We sat there through the beginning of the end of 2013, beginning of 2014, saying we didn't have anything to play. I couldn't wait. I still can't wait for Path of Exiles, and I'm telling you right now, I'm passing on the beta. When in God's green earth am I supposed to play that game? You know what I mean? I'm like really into this Fortnite thing. I've already put 2 other games to the side. I mean, like it's insane, right? I mean, I don't know. I don't. There's so much stuff going on right now. It's hard to give any of these games a fair shake, right? I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's me. There's only 24 hours on my clock. Again, the fall's going to get worse, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm looking forward to Assassin's Creed. I can't wait for that one to come out.
Oh man.
Well, let me ask you guys this real quick, because since Mooch, you seem really to want to talk about Fortnite, and we can let people trickle in. You were a little bit hesitant. You were like, "Crap, is it worth it?" And then I was like, "Man, I tell you what, I played this game, and I didn't want to stop playing it. I thought it was fun."
The audience is going to like this crap, and you're really going to like this. You're going to actually sit down right now and open up a big thing of Funyuns and enjoy this story. That game, Fortnite, has actually revitalized my interest in Sea of Thieves.
Yes, I told you it would.
Yeah.
I was like, look, this game, and you're like, I know a lot of people are like, what's the correlation there? Yeah. Well, I mean,
it does. I mean, listen, there's something cartoony about Fortnite, right? And I'm usually anti this much cartoony, but I got to tell you something. This is done with such a great art style, and the building element is what people are not really. It's the fort is kind of bigger than the knight. And you'll know what I mean when you're playing it, because the best part, I think, when you go into each round is you spend so much time having fun with your friends. We were running around. Everything's destructible. Everything is destructible. You break cars, rocks, trees, houses, refrigerators, anything in your way, you break down and it becomes a consumable part. And then after that, you start to build your fort before you launch the attack. And building the fort with your friends and all this stuff that they can, like, and the forts get extravagant, guys. I mean, it's never going to be boring because it's a PC game turned console. It's extremely this is a never-ending game as far as I'm concerned. So you take all of that, and I mean, it's just an amazing situation.
I'll say it, Mooch. This game got announced in 2011, right?
Yeah.
And I was really looking forward to it since then. It finally hit. And wait until you get further in the game. There are upgrades to where, let's say you build a stone wall. You can go up to it. You know, you normally push right stick to repair the wall, right?
Yes.
You can upgrade these walls. So there are tiers of walls. And at the higher tiers, the walls look like castle walls. And you know, same for the wood, the steel, everything's upgradable. So there's a ton of trees.
Can I ask you a question, Dealer? Because I think I only got to, like, you know, world or round 4, however you want to call it. But my point, and there's even more to talk about, but since Dealer brought us to this situation, when you get further in the game, is there a blueprint that you see that creates this magnificent fortress, or is it all based upon how you want to build it?
No, it's a normal wall that starts out at the lowest tier, and you just upgrade it. So it's just like if you have a fort already, right, and you unlock the tier 2 and tier 3 versions of stone, wood, and steel, you just go up to the fort wall by wall and pushing right stick, and it'll upgrade right before your eyes, right?
Okay,
and with that upgrade comes defense buffs and all that good stuff.
Dealer, can you talk a little bit about the upgrades and weapons and the skill tree? Because I'm just getting started in that skill tree.
There's a bunch of weapons, rocket launchers, grenade launchers, everything you can think of, all craftable and all that stuff. So obviously different colors or different rarities, all the way up to orange weapons. I've got an orange, like, legendary scythe right now that somebody gave me. But ultimately, the game is extremely polished in terms of its mechanics. Yeah. I think the game looks great as well.
So do I.
It looks good.
So do I. I mean, this game has
it's enthralling to play. It really is.
It's got RPG elements, right, Dealer? It's got RPG. It's got crafting. It's got building, and it's got great like firing mechanics, third-person shooting mechanics. I mean,
now,
it's
I will
kind
say
of, you know,
there are some negatives though. I will say that
There's
because
some.
we got to be 100. It's a fucking beta, which they don't tell you in the storefront. They do not tell you it's a beta. So that should have been in game preview, right? Secondly, maybe if you're a fan of heavy hitting gun sounds, it's not, you know, but
Correct.
these are nitpicks, right? At this point, the only real concern of mine is the longevity of the story or lack thereof. But if you're with friends, you're doing this over and over, you're having fun. It's a little more forgiving, and knowing that it's a beta, it's got some room to go. You know, so
What was the wheelbarrow, the one wheel wonder there that was a crack up in the Borderlands series? You remember? Claptrap.
Claptrap.
Yeah, Claptrap. That's what you kind of have this Claptrap. It's not a wheel. It's a floating device that's floating around. I mean, but the story in it, they try to be a little bit comical. It's a little bit Claptrap-ish, if you will. I think Dealer will agree with me there. And to be honest with you, Dealer's kind of right. Once you get to round 4 or 5, you really I personally could give two shits what they were talking about at that point. I was just so interested in playing the game.
You know what's interesting for me was, hold on, Noof, I know you want to hop in, but I saw so many people on my friends list playing the game, right? Like I was like, hey, this game looks kind of interesting. And then I saw so many people playing the game. I was like, hey, I'm going to definitely see if I can get this game. And then just like that, dude, like just popped me a code. And I was like, hey, man, I appreciate it. And then same dude popped Mooch a code.
Yeah.
And
Hashtag
yeah, dude.
It's a good game, man.
I didn't ask anybody for it. Like he was just like, hey, you want a code? And I was like, who the hell is going to turn down a free code?
No, I did.
You know
I did ask for a code.
Did you notice that the guy that voices Marcus Phoenix, he's in the game?
Yeah, I did notice that.
John DiMaggio. He voices the constructor.
Yeah, and what's really cool about it is, it's light on the story. I think Sea of Thieves is going to be light on the story. Here's where the kind of correlation is, right? It's like this shared world. Like, well, I don't know about it. It's not really shared, but you do play with 3 other people, and like the building aspect. And the hordes and stuff like that, and the crafting, that stuff is stuff that's kind of both that they both have, and they're both going to be really determined by how much content they can get out, and stuff like that. So, but I was pleasantly surprised by that game. I think it was fantastic. Really blew my mind with how good it is. I know Hellhammer didn't play it. I was like, Hellhammer, you played that game yet? No.
Yeah, I haven't.
It's a good game, man. You're missing out on it. Dude.
Yeah.
I mean, I just haven't had time to play it, honestly. I've been busy with other crap.
Crash Bandicoot's been keeping him pretty busy.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, we've got to give a shout out to already almost 400 people watching, guys. Hit that like button, show your support, man.
Yeah, I would appreciate it, man. Hit the like button and see we got D-Batch in there. Appreciate you coming out, bro. Yeah, come out there and hit that like button. Thank you guys so much. Yeah, I think me and Mooch are going to be streaming that game this Friday night as well. You know, so if you guys are going to want to check that out as well, because that's going to be cool. What did you want to say, Noof?
I was just going to say, listening to Dealer and Mooch talking about this game, I'm starting to wonder if President Trump just started to design it. It's build a wall and keep the aliens and zombies out. But you know, I don't know. I like the look of the game. I've seen some videos. I've seen few people playing it. Like She-Wolf, was watching a bit of her stream at one point there. But I don't know. Like for me, it's just another tower defense fortress style game. I don't know. Just build stuff, keep it out. Get weapons.
Noof, let me try and sell you. Let me try and sell you on something. I'm not going to sell you on Fortnite. I'm going to sell you on what you just said, tower defense, for a second. Hear me out. Me and you got into. You just showed the other day. You're like, I got all these games and I want to start playing them, right? And you had Darksiders and you had all these other games and Dead Rising 4. And I have Prey right now. I still have Dark Souls. I still have other games to get through. I still haven't finished Horizon. I'll probably never finish that. And my point being is that those games are all, you know, predominantly single player games. And they take a lot of time, and it's a lot of dedication. And you know as well as I do, Noof, right? When you're online, people are either you want to jump into a group or people are jumping into your group. It's a very multiplayer focused. I used to enjoy a lot more before YouTube. I used to enjoy a lot more just concentrating on multiplayer, and I did almost no single player. Once I got into YouTube, I started to kind of change that a little bit, and I was like, all right, you know, you're being so social, this and that. It wouldn't be bad to kind of kick back and get into a story. I get that. I'm going back to my roots. And I'm starting to enjoy, and this is a great fall for me to fall back on these roots. Games like Fortnite, okay, games like Path of Exile, games like Call of Duty, going back to the boots on the ground, Battlefront 2. What I'm trying to say to you is basically maybe we're all getting a little hung up on the single player thing. I mean, we talked about it for 4 months like it was a do or die situation, okay? And at this point, I'm starting to say, realistically, what is it that we all have in common, especially as Xbox fans? That's the social aspect, the multiplayer gaming. So I'm putting some of my single-player games to the side, and I'm going to go ahead and rush in and start playing with friends and have a good time again. And I think if you're able to put those 4 games that you showed, and I have 4 or 5 too that I have backlogged that are really, really ones that I wanted to get to, but they're single-player, if I could just put those aside for another time, the fall, we're going into the fall. It's already August for all practical purposes. I think you're going to enjoy yourself a lot more if you focus on the multiplayer games, because that's, in the essence, why you're an Xbox fan to begin with.
Hey, Mooch, wouldn't you say, and I've told this to several people, because I keep hearing tower defense.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you say this game is too deep to just be called a tower defense game?
Listen, you said it perfectly, Dealer. This is not a tower defense game. And the reason it's not is a game like Halo Wars 2, which I will not bash. I own it. I will not bash it. That game's not for me. Now I feel like Noof. What Noof said, and the reason he's not feeling maybe getting into Fortnite, is how I feel about Halo Wars 2. It's a very just tower defense. Go in, build, rush, die, do it again. This is not like that. This is like, we spent an hour. Last night was Xbot, Mel, shout out to Mel, Xbot, and Sajibot. We played for 3.5 hours, and the laughing, the insanity, the goofiness that the game brings out in you, it was there. And let me tell you something. I certainly, Noof, didn't walk into that game thinking that was the good time I was going to have. I walked into it.
I told you it was so much fun, dude. That first day that I played it, man, I was like, this game is fucking
You did say it was fun. You did say it was fun, but I thought of you. I thought more of how you've been preaching Sea of Thieves. And I said, this really works for this game. Well, it does. Yeah. And, that's still yet to be seen, right? It's still yet to be seen. So nobody take that and run to the bank with it. But what I'm saying to you is, if that cartoony-esque and the caricatures can work, and it really is fun to build the ship, take the high seas, crazy things happen while you're on the high seas, crap falls off the boat for some reason. It's how can that not be
that'll be happening all the time.
How can that not be fun,
Yeah.
So I would definitely say it's too deep to tower defense. Tower defense is like Defense Grid 2, That's tower defense. This is
tower defense is strictly tower defense. This is a third-person shooter. This is a crafting game and some tower defense mixed in, which and the multiplayer aspect, because a lot of tower defense games don't really offer that. So like I said, it's something unique. It mixes a lot of really cool stuff. And the funny thing is, this game screams like something Microsoft would really love, because it's that really kind of paid service type of game as a service.
Right.
And so I did see some people say, it's kind of a pay to win thing. I didn't pay shit for it yet, and I'm having a blast. So
and this is definitely a game that you got to play with your buddies, because I ran it a couple of times because you can set it up to run solo, but this is definitely a game you have to play with people to get a full experience. Like listening to you guys talk. Yep. Mooch is yakking away. He's like, hey man, an hour went by and we were having a good time. That's something that this is a game that has to be played with multiple people.
Yeah, it is, and it's so much fun, man. If you haven't tried it, definitely has pretty much everybody here that's played it seal of approval. Go try that shit out. It's really good.
If anyone's looking to mooch the title of Fortnite, all they got to do is call in a voicemail to J-Dubs and take a chance and win. We're going to be giving away a copy of it on Sunday morning at MNC Morning.
Yeah. And all you got to do is just leave a voicemail, ask a question, a legit question, not something like, "Hey, I'm stupid. Just give me the game." That's not gonna, you're not going to get it.
Yeah, exactly.
You're like, "Hey, Mooch, Crap, what do you think about this?" That's a good question, So yeah, it's good. Right. No, Fortnite's on PlayStation 4 as well, guys. It's on everything. So you got that to look forward to. But speaking of Fortnite, this is so funny to me, right? Digital Foundry did a face-off between Fortnite on Xbox One and PS4. And even though the Xbox One version was 900p, they gave it the win. And people are freaking out, and they're messaging me about this. They're like, you got to check this out. And I'm like, okay, I check it out. And you can just slowly see how Digital Foundry is trying to make you forget the last 3 years existed, to where resolution really made all the difference. And that was the reason why PS4 was the better platform. And that's why all the PS4 games, for the most part, won the Digital Foundry face-offs. Now, all of a sudden, that's not as important. A 900p game can be just as good. And this just like, in my head, I grab my head and I'm like, I can foresee native 4K games losing to PS4 games because for some stupid reason, resolution doesn't matter all of a sudden to these people. Like, I can see that.
Well, it is worth mentioning that the temporal anti-aliasing mitigates more of that difference between that resolution, right? So for those that don't know, that just recycles data on screen and kind of mitigates the jaggy, so it's kind of hard to see the difference. And the Xbox One version does have proper frame timing and a slightly more stable frame rate. So I think that's really what gave it the win there. I would choose it too. Improper frame pacing's annoying, like Rime, for instance, right? RIME. That game, I started playing it, and it's so jittery. Even though the frame rate's stable, that's improper frame timing. So I had to stop.
That happened to The Witcher 3 when I first got it on Xbox One. I remember it was uncapped frame rate, and the frame pacing was really bad. So I had trouble playing that for a long time. I actually stopped playing it right away and then waited for them to patch. And I think they put it at 30 or something, or capped it. And then I went back to it, but yeah. So yeah, like I can understand that, but do you not see or think that it is?
They got one foot out the door. Yeah, I completely get where you're coming from.
Yeah, like just because like I've kind of paid some attention to what they've been doing this entire generation, and they've just been resolution and 1080p, and what we see here is this kind of picture, and this isn't as good. It's softer picture, and you can see this, and now it's just like you can kind of slowly see them turn. Like I still have respect for Ledbetter, out of all the guys there, he's the one that I would that you kind of respect. Yeah. But the other guys there, I don't have any respect for those guys.
Especially the guy that did the Fortnite video, Dave. He's a he's a turd. So
exactly, like dude, it's cringy. When you sit there and watch these dudes, it is really cringeworthy. Like Mooch, what did you think about this when you heard it?
Well, I mean, I was shocked because I'm always waiting for the but and then the long pause and then this is why you need to buy it on the PS4 Pro. But they were disappointed. The PS4 Pro didn't have any upgrades at all. The upgrade, I don't think it gets any, actually, to be honest with you. They're both, the PS4 Vanilla and the Pro are both running at 1080p. The Xbox One version is running at 900p. Big shocker.
It'll be 4K on the One.
It'll be 4K on the X. Absolutely. That's going to get the treatment. And this is the same thing. You're hearing it from every developer. So whenever anybody argues with me and they're like, see, Mooch, I told you Destiny 2 is not going to get the treatment. It's getting the treatment from every game. So why is it not going to get it on Destiny 2? Bungie doesn't want to look like the only company that can't do it. So yeah, basically, long story short, I was floored. But crap, again, the thing is I'm just getting ready for the inevitable. And the inevitable is that the goalposts are going to move come November 7th.
I just saw this comment for the first time, Mooch, and it blew my mind. Someone said that Digital Foundry are biased towards Xbox.
Did you see that? I'm like, oh my god.
Well, yeah, I've never ever seen that in years. No. So that's a first, buddy. El Diablo. I think that was good job. You just blew my mind.
El Diablo. Hey, El Diablo. That is not true at all. Like this is basically what happened, right? Digital Foundry are a European publication. They really went hard after Xbox after 2013, right? I realize he's saying the Eurogamer has their own dedicated Xbox channel. They're Xbox fan. Dude, they are not Xbox fanboys at all.
No.
They
are. Watch Xbox. You watch outside Xbox and say that's an Xbox fanboy channel. That's insane. They're a comedic Xbox channel. I think they did a good job with what they do.
Yeah, like I don't mind what they're doing, man. I like what they're doing. I think that it's some good stuff. I just think that as far as I'm concerned with Digital Foundry, they've got to get their shit together a little bit more. I'd like to see a little less opinion because they're actually there to kind of put the actual facts. Yeah, tell us the numbers, the hardcore numbers, and then let us kind of make our thing from that. It's when they get that opinionated shit in there, it really kind of bugs me. Hellhammer, what are your thoughts on this, man? You're being quiet tonight, man. What do you got? Some Starburst in your mouth or something? Come on.
No, just not much to say.
Oh, brilliant.
Not much to say.
Okay. Nice. What about you, Noof? What do you got to say, bro?
What, on the whole Digital Foundry thing?
Yeah.
Well, it's just, it's the same old song and dance. It's just kind of surprising that they would now pass something in favor of an Xbox product. You know what I mean? It's just weird. But I mean, they spent the last, like you said, 3-4 years for the most part, trying to downgrade every single Xbox product that came out with a smidgen of a pixel at a place, and it was always the worst version for this and the worst version for that. I don't know. Like, it's just, I don't put a whole lot of weight into these comparison things. At the end of the day, I'm still going to buy my game for the console of my choice, and that is going to be Xbox 9 out of 10 fucking chances. So, as far as I'm concerned, those guys can compare fucking assholes to molehills, and I don't really give a crap.
The problem with Digital Foundry right now, though, is it's the same thing with Walmart and Target, right? So there's a Walmart and there's a Target. Now, when people go out, they go, I got this great set over at Walmart. It's fantastic with an amazing price. My number one thing is I go, how do you know? And they're like, well, what do you mean? How do I know? It's Walmart, man. Who's beating Walmart? Well, there's other stores. There's other sales. Do you know? The thing is that we've all become so compliant that Target, Walmart, or let's even include Amazon, they're so low that we don't look at it anywhere else. You see it in Amazon, you're like, that's the cheapest thing I could ever find. The same thing happens here. Digital Foundry says, in this case, okay, the Xbox One is running at a solid 30 frames, and this is running at a solid this. Who's countering them? And I know there's a lot of small guys, but the small guys that are doing it, I tip my hat to them. Good work. Keep up the work. I hope you grow and conquer them. But my point is that nobody is countering digital. So when Digital Foundry says, in this case, the Xbox is a locked 30 900p, I say, anybody going to counter that? No? Going once? Going twice?
Over in the corner with
Sold to Digital Foundry and Ledbetter for 30 frames at 900p. And it's like, okay, that's fine. But that's the problem I have with this, is there's no checks and balances. And that's the thing in the gaming world. This is one of the only billion-dollar businesses that there's no checks and balances. So-and-so comes out from so-and-so company, says something, and let's print it. I mean, you look at Ford, you look at Chevy, and what do they have? They have those awards. The what is it there? They say that this is the something award. JD Power Associates, right? And then, but those are like third-party independent people that audit, check, blah blah blah, go through all the customer satisfactions, whatever. There's none of that here. It's like so-and-so, the vice president of Sony in Europe, said PS5 may or may not come out in 2019. Who knows? Let's run it. You know what? Print that. And it's like, that doesn't mean anything. It's just a guy. It's one guy. There's more than one guy that makes a decision on something like that. And we see time and time again that Digital Foundry, Microsoft included, Sony, they've been so wrong in what they've claimed. I just find it hysterical.
I want to ask you guys this real quick before we move on to the next topic. Me personally, I think we'll see a lot of 180s here with Digital Foundry. I think they have no choice but to give Xbox the victory. There's too big of a margin there between the two now when the X hits over the Pro. We know that. Yeah. Do you think that we'll see that kind of shoe on the other foot here this fall? Because I do. Yeah,
I do. I do too.
I really do.
Yeah. It's unfortunate, but I mean that's, or maybe not. Well, I don't know. It's I want to see a game like Killing Floor 2. I want to see them go back and compare these two games, versus the PS4 Pro version, because as we know, Killing Floor 2 came out yesterday, and they said, hey, it's going to have 4K, it's going to have the high res 4K textures, better lighting, better performance, this, that. You know what I mean? So I want to see them go back and test this game.
On X. Yeah. Well, you guys, I'm just going to warn you right now. If you think the fucking bullshit videos are still coming, just wait till November when they start fucking running Xbox One X versions versus super powerful PCs, because that's exactly what's going to happen. They're going to find every which way in the book to downplay Xbox One X versions. I can almost guarantee it.
They already do that. Like when Mass Effect Andromeda came out, it's like, here's a high-end PC Titan versus PS4 Pro versus a standard Xbox One. You know what I mean? It's like, that sounds like a joke, like what Graphical Foundry would make, right? Like here's a Commodore 64 versus the Xbox One. Like that
colors always suck on that to a Husky.
Here's a Titan PC, Titan thing on a PC and a PS4 Pro versus not even the Xbox One S. But just a base Xbox One, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like comparing a Chihuahua to a Husky. Of course, the Husky shit is bigger. Come on,
we got to give a shout out to Space Cat, the cat in space.
Cat,
how you doing, buddy?
Space Cat, what's up, buddy?
What's up, buddy? You know what? I do want to say this, right? Because I want to talk about some Crackdown 3, and Jamie Moran just retweeted this. So this dude tweeted to Terry Crews. Nobody would care about Crackdown 3 if it didn't have Terry Crews in it. So he said, start caring, bitch. I mean, like to me, I can understand why some people maybe the funny thing is a lot of people that aren't are hating on Crackdown 3 right now. They're the ones that, probably never played the first Crackdown, probably don't really get the game. I get it. The Comic-Con thing was a shitty demonstration. They had people that didn't know what the hell they were doing play the game. That's bad, right? I get that. But I all along said, hey, they probably got this idea. Show the campaign, which they hadn't shown, and I didn't know about Comic-Con until a little bit later, but show a little bit more. They did some interviews. We saw who's writing the campaign. Cool. Terry Crews did a cool interview. If you guys didn't watch it, it's on the Xbox channel. Then Gamescom, they're going to show off some more of the multiplayer with the cloud compute and stuff. So I don't understand how this is a bad thing. If you don't like it and it's not your cup of tea, that's fine. But I have never seen so many people complain about a game in my life.
It's ridiculous, isn't it? This is what I said on RDX last night, right? You got people that really loved the first Crackdown. It was a surprise hit. People only played it because of beta, and they kind of fell in love, right? Crackdown 2 comes out in 2010. People were kind of let down, right? It wasn't quite the same.
Different dev, too.
Exactly. Well. Crackdown 3 is announced, and this is basically Crackdown 1 in 2017. And I imagine it comes with upgraded mechanics to suit the age that it's coming out in, right? So people are complaining about this game before they've even played the damn game. And for one, if you say that it looks like trash, so that means it's trash, then as I said last night, that means that, games like Ni no Kuni and other games that I'm not into personally are trash because I think they look like trash.
Or Persona 5 or anything like that. Yeah.
You're doing the same thing when you do that, and it's just not the right thing to do to a game. Now, when it comes to Gamescom and what they should have done with the multiplayer, of course, you need to bring your biggest fucking guns to E3. It makes sense. They should have done the multiplayer at E3, done the story at Gamescom.
Absolutely.
Right? Other than that, the streaming bullshit, that was a mishap that shouldn't have happened either. But that's all you can really criticize is the marketing and the handling of the game, not really the game because you haven't played the game.
Yeah.
Sorry. The average person wouldn't go into a strip club, sit down on Pervert's Row, and start laughing at the stripper before she got her clothes off. Come on.
Yo, thanks.
Noof is sitting there saying, you can't pee on me with them clothes on.
Hey, so now we know what Noof is into.
I have dignity here.
Jesus. But you know what? You make a good point also, Dealer, in the fact that there's upgraded mechanics. If you go back and play the first Crackdown, it's kind of mindless fun. You pick up cars, you throw it, you throw shit. You go up and punch people.
Mindless fun.
Yeah, it's mindless fun. This new one has the double jump, and it also has the midair like glide thing where you can has the jetpack deal. So it's got upgraded mechanics. So a lot of people are going, well, it's just like Crackdown 1 though, and people are like, you look at it, it's got an 83 Metacritic, and people loved it. So what's wrong with the single player doing that? They say it's over 2 times the size. The tallest building is 2 times the size. So what's wrong with that?
See, my concern with Crackdown was way before this concern with Crackdown went viral.
You're a hipster with the concern. You were concerned with
Yes, that's well, I don't know if that's hipster. I think it's more
no, that's totally hipster. You probably got your glasses on with no frames.
Yes. Well, it's summer now in New York, and I'm wearing a scarf and a little Fidel hat. Listen, I mean, wow. No, my whole thing is this. No, I'm not, by the way. But the whole my point being is I was concerned with the actual multiplayer wasn't going to be what we thought it was going to be. Okay, and now I actually think it is going to be that, and I'm hearing people that are complaining about the way it looks. I hate to be so simplistic, but if you don't like Crackdown, then you don't like this game. You can't call it. It's exactly what Dealer just said. Ni no Kuni and Persona 5 to a lot of people look like absolute garbage. But people are saying, don't say that. Don't say that at all. It's a great game. Okay, fine. Then I'm willing to step back and say, that's not my type of game, but I'm going to say that it's a good game because you enjoy it. You can't say Crackdown 3 to cell shading. That's not my thing. It looks like trash. I mean, it's just not your thing. That's fine. But I mean, the multiplayer, what I was concerned about was they promised this cloud destruction, this multi-world destructive environment. And that's the part that I know we saw it, but we didn't see it. And what I mean by that is you saw it on display. Okay. That's like when you go to the mall and you see the mannequin and you're like, I want the clothes on that. You get home, you're like, I don't look like the fucking mannequin. The problem is it just doesn't look the same sometimes after the fact. And that's what I'm concerned about here is we saw 2-3 stage demos where the destruction was just magnificent. And I'm afraid when they go to show it that someone's going to raise their hand and be like, oh, how come you can't blow that rock up, Phil? And he'll be like, rock, schmuck. Come on. I didn't say everything.
The rocks. Bring the building down.
Exactly. Bring the building down. Leave the rock alone.
Well, I saw Tim Dog retweet IGN thing from 2015 Gamescom where they were running the multiplayer pre-alpha, and it looked great. So and everything's destructible, but only in the multiplayer. That was the only place where the destruction was fully enabled.
In the single player, you're essentially a super cop. You don't want to blow up the city.
Yeah.
Right.
So and it's got the 4-player co-op, which is awesome.
Right.
It offers everything that people like. You got the 4-player co-op online or single player, and then you also have that supposedly takes 11 to 13 hours to finish. Right. Yeah. If you like collecting the orbs and stuff like that, which is really fun, and leveling up and climbing the buildings and, super punching shit. What's up, Def Jam Bam and Luca in the chat? And Neth, glad you got your stuff back, man. He got a Xbox. And
he didn't just get his stuff back. He got upgraded. That's awesome.
Yeah, well, he did get a Mac, so he gets.
That is an upgrade.
And, guys, I gotta remember that Crackdown 3 is like what 3 times bigger, I think, than one of its predecessors. This game has a lot of computing power going on underneath the hood. I mean, any type of game like this always takes so much more. Like I said, it takes a lot of talent. It takes a lot of hard effort to get things to run very smoothly when you have so many factors, so many calculations and things to consider. Damage, how something reacts in their environment, all the NPCs, that sort of stuff. So they cut the game a little bit of slack. It's trying to do a lot of things that not many games up until now have even really attempted to do the way this game hopes to do it. And I want to see more of it. I mean, the biggest question with Crackdown isn't whether it's going to be a good game. I think they're going to deliver a very solid game. It might be, like I said, a shade underneath the underwhelming bar, but I think it's still going to be a really good game. It's going to be, again, one of those great games to play with your friends. A lot of fun to pick up and play, whether it's 20 minutes or 1 hour long. Like, it's going to be one of those games. And again, it's just so much going on. People just got to cut it a little bit of slack. People are being way too harsh, way too early.
I mean, look, the thing is, though, is that it's got a couple different things going against it, right? And I think the game looks like it's going to be pretty fun. I mean, obviously, I'm going to play it. But the things it has going against it is cell shading, for one. It's always so split down the middle between people, regardless of the game it is. I mean, just because people are like, oh, well, graphically, it's not that great or whatever, because the cell shading makes everything look pretty decent on pretty much any system, right? I mean, go back to the GameCube with Wind Waker, and that game still holds up pretty well today. Because of the way the graphics,
even if you play Jet Grind Radio, that game even holds up extremely well.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, right? So the other thing it has going against it is that this is supposed to be the showcase for the Xbox One X, but it's cell shaded, which has a hard time showing.
Well, people say it's really supposed to be a showcase. I think that this was originally supposed to be just a showcase for the Xbox One, and the fact that it was going to be the cloud compute.
Right, but then Microsoft didn't come up with any other showcase besides Forza to release alongside.
There is no way that Crackdown is supposed to be a showcase in any sense of the word for any platform when it comes to visuals. Crackdown has never been a graphical showcase on any console ever. It's always been about the fun, the jumping around, blowing stuff up. The
but it gets misappropriated to be at a showcase.
Yeah, like okay, with Xbox One X, Hellhammer, you've got more power than obviously PS4 Pro. You got tons of overhead to make it one of the best looking games there are if it's running an Xbox One X, right? There was absolutely zero reasons this game would not look absolutely phenomenal to absolutely everybody if they wanted it to look that way. They have the power to do so.
Right,
so,
I
mean, that's just the game design. It's simple Crackdown game design with effects,
And the problem is, though, is that because it's releasing alongside the One X, right, literally as a launch title, more or less.
Associated is like
that's why it gets associated like that, right? So it's just like when the PS4 released and it got NAC launched alongside of it, right? That got associated with being one of the launch titles to show off the power of the system. But clearly, like, I mean, that's
Crap was so enamored with the visuals, he forgot to jump and shit in the gameplay.
Somebody messaged me that the other day. They're like, what's the deal with that? Do you just suck at that game? And I was like, no. I was like, and I explained to him on Xbox Live what happened with that.
His same excuse that he always has that he
he goes, I don't really believe that, but whatever. I was like, oh, what an asshole.
Crackdown 3 is not supposed to be a visual showcase. Go to Forza, go to Witcher 3, go to some of the other stuff to get an idea.
Realistically, though, they could have probably avoided a lot of this issue if Microsoft would have come out with something else alongside this besides just the Forza game. And that basically, I mean, Forza releases a month and a half.
Gears of War 4, like Tim Dog says, Gears 4 single player is the best looking thing he saw at the show.
Gears is going to be.
But I'm saying though, but the thing is though, is that showing stuff that's already out though, regardless of graphical upgrades.
Yeah, I think that's the best thing to show. But you already know what the old one looks like.
But
here's the thing though. But you're still going to have great games. You're going to have Shadow of War being the 4K on there. You're going to have Star Wars Battlefront 2. Looking like what we saw at that EA event. It's going to look like that with the high-resolution textures and stuff like that. You're going to have the new Call of Duty.
Let's get the panel's take on this. We talked about it on MNC. I'm really interested. I don't think Crackdown being the game that releases with it's the problem. I personally think the problem is the release date of Xbox One X. I really think they should have went with an October. And I know this is.
We didn't actually talk about this yet. This was something that's going to be in a different thing that we did. But yeah, I agree.
Well, yeah, there's that too. But I'm saying, do you know what I mean? Like, I just think that, like, I still think that that is a thing, though. I think that's a problem because, crap, you said it yourself with Shadow of War. I'll just leave it at this, okay? Shadow of War is a title that is being pretty much designed for the X. We've heard the developer come out once a week now, being like, even if he has nothing to say, he calls the journalist and he's like, the X, and hangs up. And it's like, wow, what the fuck, native? What was that? And you know, like, it's literally designed with the X in mind. And you have to say that it is odd. I mean, you have to, even what is it, a week, 2 weeks after the game comes out? It's just so, I don't know. Like, I don't know why they waited till November. We see that the FCC cleared it. I so wish they could have went in early October with this.
Yeah, I got one more question before I know we're probably going to move on again. But the best graphical showcase of any new game, I'd like to know what you guys think. Mine, personally, is going to be Battlefront 2 because I know what that game looks like on Xbox One. I know what it's going to look like on the X. And it's 60 frames, so you get double the animations on screen. That's my game I'm choosing for the looker this year. What about you guys?
I think it's going to be Call of Duty.
Yeah, that's.
You know what? I think
I'm not a big Call of Duty
Not the
guy.
showcase. I just mean as far as I think that's the one people will. Call of Duty World War II, I think, is going to do slightly better.
I mean, like, what do you think is going to hit you the most with visuals?
Oh, okay, the visuals, Battlefront 2. Yeah, I'll go there.
Battlefront 2.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you know what? I have to go Battlefront 2 simply for the fact that Battlefront 1, even though it was 720p and was a blurry 720p according to the media, that game still looked amazing. It's still like a top 5 game on there. So you can see the crystals in the ice. You know?
you could.
Like and like the foliage when stuff like that, absolutely phenomenal. So yeah, I'm gonna say Battlefront 2.
Forza 7 close second. Gotta say.
I was
Very
gonna
close
say
second.
Forza 7.
Yeah.
Well, and the reason why Battlefront 2, that's a game that's using DirectX 12 as well, and it's going to be utilizing a lot of those assets, the higher art assets and things like that. That is going to be a huge showpiece. That's why Sony didn't want to show that game off at their E3, and that's why it was kind of on the download that it's Xbox One X enhanced. Like, you had to go to the website and then you see it there that it is. I can't wait till we start seeing some comparisons with this game because it's going to be phenomenal.
Yeah. Provided no parody bullshit happens, right?
Yeah. I don't think
I'm gonna go with Forza 7, just the fact that that's, you know, those games already show off on the OG Xbox and the One S graphical fidelity. Followed closely by probably Battlefront.
Damn. Yeah. I mean, look,
anytime you play a new console, it's always the racing games that are going to show off where you're going to be the most technically impressed. I mean,
that is true, but Battlefront has more effects, you know, explosions, all kinds of destruction, you know, lasers, lightsabers, really good character animation. Yeah. I think people are going to notice the screen space reflections on the marble floor when they're fighting. They're going to see lightsabers, reflections on the floor, you know, stuff like that. Forza is going to look phenomenal, probably the best-looking racing game of all time, but Battlefront just has more effects and more things.
And this is a game that, and I know that Glecha was saying he's into it. I'm not into Assassin's Creed, but I think Assassin's Creed might actually, if anything's going to steal Battlefront 2's like glitz and glare, it's going to be that. And the only reason I say that is everything you said is so true, Dealer. The thing is we're moving so fast. The Battlefront 2 multiplayer is a fast-paced game. Okay, you're not just, if you're standing there looking at the glare of yourself in that marble floor, your head's gonna get flopped off by one of the Jedi. So I mean, my point is that like you're not really standing around still looking at yourself in the. So, but when it comes to Assassin's Creed, though, listen, there's no game that I can think of besides Prince of Persia that made you go goddamn slower than you do in Assassin's Creed. To really take in the environment, right? And now you can be that hawk, eagle, bird, whatever the hell it is.
And there is no limit on how far out you can fly as that bird, they said. You can cover the whole map.
That's right. Like, I'm beyond excited for that game.
I think it's going to be huge for visuals.
About the new Wolfenstein game, too.
Oh, yeah.
Shit.
That is gonna be a good one. I really got into.
Yeah. You play that first one, you go back to it, and consider that was a fairly early on
still looks
game.
Great.
Yeah. I mean, that game still looks great on the original Xbox One.
Yeah, I mean,
I agree 100%.
it's hard to say. Like I said, I'm kind of with Hellhammer. Like Forza, I think is kind of a no-brainer. It's a given that the game is going to look outstanding. The thing about racing games, though, it's really hard to set a standard with them because there's only so much you can do. It's kind of like sports games. You know what I mean? Like after a certain point in time, there's not much you can do with, say, a piece of pavement, or once your car hits a certain amount of shaders and polygons and things, and you get it up to a certain level. Like there really isn't a lot you can do at a certain point in time. At least there's not a lot of stuff that the average person's going to know. Like you can't really make roads and grass and trees and dirt that much more impressive at some point in time. Other, like I said, the 4K textures are going to be huge. That's the key. I mean, there.
But you're also looking at that it has the real time lighting and weather effects going on with it as well.
And just so you know, too, Forza 6 Apex, the maximum car detail model in that game is still a step below the Alta Vista models in the Xbox One version of Forza 6. So even at the maximum detail level, they're not running what you see in Forza Vista. They can always up detail infinitely. You know what I'm saying? I mean, there's still a lot to go before they can't improve on racing. That's for sure.
Yeah. I agree 100%. I'm looking forward to just getting a hold of this beast and playing it, man. Like, I'm tired of talking about it. I want to hop in there and play that shit. Okay, so it's true though. I do. I mean, I do. I want to play the hell out of this game. Xbox One X getting some move. Well, surprisingly, gave me this idea. I did a video about it, man. He took this picture of his EB games, and they have this cutout there, and it says the world's most powerful console, and this is like the equivalent to GameStop here. Same thing. Games play better more than any other console. Experience immersive true 4K gaming. Xbox Live. Play with the greatest community of gamers. Player network. True 4K gaming. Unleash 6 teraflops of graphical processing power. Games play better on Xbox One X than they ever had before. Built for 4K, includes 4K streaming and a built-in 4K Blu-ray player. So not only does it say all this in this standout, but it also has Call of Duty World War II box. It has Destiny 2, Forza Motorsport 7 front and center. So it's got these games right out front there that you can see. Like, Noof, what did you think when you saw that, man? That was a good eye.
Yeah, well, first of all, walking into the store, and I noticed it right away because typically speaking, and I'm sure you guys are used to it, when you walk into a GameStop or EB Games, as they're known up here in Canada, because they didn't change the logos here, I was kind of shocked, like, because it was front row and center. It was easy to see. It was right on their doors. And generally, if you see an Xbox poster, it's sort of like off on a side window, or it's just a little game poster or something.
Tucked in the corner so nobody can see it.
Yeah, I was kind of shocked with that right off the first part. And then I just, I was smart enough at the time. I said, I should try to take a picture of this so the guys can see it, at least that we know that there is marketing starting to roll out in advance, that sort of thing. So that, it was good. It was good to see. It was kind of funny though. At the same time, this I didn't take a picture of, but I walk inside this store and guess who's like the first person I see in there? It's a PlayStation rep, and he's setting up a gigantic VR display. Like this fucking board was huge.
I'm glad Noof said that because I got to be honest with you. And listen, it's a start and it's better than nothing. So let me just put that out there first and foremost. But when I saw that, it's not down or mooch. It's called truth serum, and the truth hurts, folks. That picture that Noof took is the same kind of banner you'd expect from like a 12th grade 4-H class trying to get their marketing stamp or badge. Listen, this is a multi-million-dollar, billion-dollar company. Pardon me. That's something that we did when we were doing Lemonade. Look, my problem is this. That's not enough. And yes, Noof is looking at it because Noof's an educated guy in the gaming world. He knows what's going on. He's actually got some time to browse. He's got money in his pocket. Have you seen any other customers that are in any of these stores? They're like, hey, yeah, give me this, give me that, give me that. Let me get it. Go, what's that? Go, what's that? What's that? They're not stopping to read the. Did you see that sign? Part of it had a dangling magnifying glass so you could read the fine print. Look, no one's stopping to do that. It's like when you go to a ball game. They're like, program, dude, get your program, man. Get your program. Get your programs.
That's a big cutout.
A big cutout, my ass. Look at the goddamn writing crap. It's about, what is that? Is it a 12 font? Look it. I don't know what it is. Get out of here with that crap. That's not. Did you hear what he said? As he walked in, he got hit by a Sony blimp. Come on.
He got hit by a Sony. He got hit by a
There's
Sony.
a guy handing out an Xbox flyer. Meanwhile, the guy inside's wearing fucking like Disney gloves and knocking him out with Sony punches.
This is like a fucking door-sized thing. It's like a door-sized cutout.
It came up to like the center of Noof's chest. If I'm going by the reflection right,
it's way taller than
Right,
you.
Noof was there. I guess Noof could tell us. Right?
Yes, Noof was it taller than you?
The poster in the door or the thing inside the building? The
thing
PSN
inside
the door,
whatever.
Stuff, yeah.
The poster on the door was, I'd say, at least about 4 feet.
Okay.
There you go.
Like it took up the
Yeah, crap. Because when I go to work, there's a ton of adults that are 4 feet walking around.
It took up the best part of the door. It was not hard to see, put it that way. But let me just say, it was harder to see than the gigantic PSVR display when I walked through the door, which was probably over 7 feet tall and took up a bloody corner. I was like, what the hell is this?
Well, it's still 4 months out.
So, it is, but I'm just saying, like, this is what people wanted, right? Like, when we were all saying they need to advertise and they need to make it clear, it says pretty clear, games play better. It's got true 4K gaming, built 4K Xbox. Somebody's getting tortured.
Somebody just died in the
Jesus
I will say though,
They're
crap,
punching somebody in the head
like
with an iron gauntlet.
Like I said last night, there's no 6-year-old walking into GameStop looking up and be like, "What's a titty flap?" Like, you know, they don't know what half that stuff means. So they need to translate that as kind of Fonz and the guys were saying. Translate that into kind of what does that mean for gamers? The best looking game.
Exactly. Like, can we get something that looks like fun? That looked like that thing that Noof took a picture of. Okay, that everybody was like, "This is great. They're doing it." That looked like the back page of an instruction manual. Like, nobody wants to read that. There was nothing fun about that. It was a green stripe on top, a green stripe on the bottom, black in the middle, white print. It wasn't fun. That's not what I think of when I think of gaming. You know, I mean, I understand it's better than nothing. I get that. Everything's better than nothing. But that's not what you think of when you think of gaming.
Which is like,
I'm with Jago. I'm glad to see that they're doing something. It's still 4 months out.
It's got to be something, right? This is a start. Now, what if they do this, and then they're also going to add new displays and stuff for people to actually to play these games on, right? Like, this is something that they're going to have to invest in. Maybe that's why they haven't invested in these fucking things in 4 years. Right? They got those half-ass broken ones, but maybe the reason why is because they're going to send out 4K displays with the fucking Xbox One X hooked up.
And when that happens, I'm going to be doing a hip hip hooray.
I want you to do a hip hooray.
But you guys are getting way too excited about them. Page 30 on the back of an instruction manual.
It's not. This is right out front though. Like Mooch is like
dealer said himself. What kid is looking at like T-flops followed by the most powerful console when you hook it up to a 120-volt outlet? What?
No,
Get out of here!
It doesn't say that. Listen, it says games play better in font with 40% more power, and it also says that games play better on Xbox One X than they ever have before.
Was it in Times New Roman or italics?
I just got to remind you guys, remember how much marketing Xbox put out that year, that fucking Gears 4 and Rise of the Tomb Raider and Halo, when they had all those games that like that big launch year, what was it, like a year before last, and they had all those crazy commercials and they were all over the place and they were at the fucking Super Bowl and they spent millions upon millions that year, and especially in the release of the Xbox One S, and then they didn't see a big return on investment either. Like, people just shrugged it off, and half of the games that came out we're lucky to sell fucking like 1.5 million to 2 million copies.
Well,
so
things are different now, though. Well, now they have the challenge of telling everyone, because people bought it on the other platform because the games ran better or maybe looked a little better, right? Now things are different. It's time to let people know that the perception needs to change, and shit's better than ever. It's now on top. That's why I prefer marketing like a commercial that tells you why it's better, what it means, and how much better it is over a logo on a jersey, right? That's just my personal preference.
Be more
I think it's a battle
about
of
it
perception right now, not a battle of brand awareness. Everyone on the planet knows what an Xbox is. They now need to know why they should take a second look, and that needs to be done through a commercial.
Yeah.
Yes,
I would
thank you.
love them to do commercials that are on this poster, right? Like, that's like, hey, yeah, the Xbox One X. Why should you get it? Well, because games play better. It was 40% more powerful than the PS4. Xbox One X does what the Pro don't. Do shit like that.
Yes.
Hey, Noof, I have one question for you, Noof. So you saw that advertising kind of on the glass wall, so people saw it on their way in, right? Was there anything inside the store about the thing?
They had a couple of smaller banners, I think, around like the desk area, but outside of that, there was not a whole lot else. Mostly it was just up on the front of the door. It was a smaller
Nice.
EB game as well, which means it
Those
did
had
have
magnifying glasses attached to those as well.
And hey, it's a small EB, and plus now half the EB is taken up by a giant PlayStation
half the
VR
store is
setup.
fucking
So
toys. There was neither like live system at this particular branch of that, which is not the usual store I go to. There was no demo systems running at all, which is kind of rare because normally they have at least one of the two, if not both consoles running somewhere. A very small outlet, and I was just like I said, I was just more or less shocked to see their banners on the front door, which are normally, in my experience, reserved for a lot of the PlayStation releases and stuff. It was nice to see the color. Well, I guess it wasn't a whole lot of green, but it was nice to see, that Xbox represented more so than constant blue pictures all over the place with PlayStation logos and fucking greatness.
you can hear Mooch. You can hear Mooch laughing.
Noof goes, after Noof tweeted that out, someone else tweeted it out. Someone goes, well, I can't remember who did it after Noof, and they were like, where is that? And Jez is like, that's a supermarket next to the Weight Watchers frozen foods. Listen, he said that. Like, I'm not kidding. Like, they have these wacky, like, triangle, like, stand-up, these, like, billboard, like, stand-up things. And they're just weird looking, and it's like they're not where the GameStops, they should definitely be there. But like I said, when you walk in, you want to see something like cartoony, animated, something wild, being like, holy shit, that's what the new Xbox looks like. Like you said, there's still pictures up all around GameStop of the day one Xbox. It's everywhere, and they still have the used ones up, like $210 for the old one. It's got, and the one you'd actually buy used has dust and shit in it. And like it's just sitting there on the counter, and I'm like, what is wrong? Meanwhile, all the PlayStations that are for sale, the setup is immaculate. There's like a disco ball around it that was just shined. I mean,
there's candy laying on the floor around them, so the children get lured over.
Yeah, actually, that's true, dealer. To get to the PlayStation exhibit, you got to hopscotch to it. I mean, they make it so it's a good time no matter what you do, and it's just like, like,
I've also noticed that the PlayStations tend to have even the used ones. They're like behind glass, and they got like the little plastic covering over top of them to protect them, and like
it's got bulletproof glass.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong. A lot of people in the chat are misunderstanding. They're like, "What's going on? Why is movie?" I'm not down on it. This isn't down. This is just take a walk into your local store. It's there everywhere. It's in Best Buy, GameStop. I'm not down. I'm just telling you what it is.
I just want to
Mooch downer.
Like, basically, for me, seeing that poster as well, like, to me, I think it was great. Like I said, at least it's a step. The machine still has a couple of months yet, so the marketing push is not going full bore, but it was...
You sound like a parent whose kid finally came home with a C after 2 years of D's. You know what I mean? You're like, I'm so glad you went up. Thank God you did something, son.
But for me, and you, and everybody in this panel, when we see that poster, we know what it means, okay? And that's the cool part. But the thing is, and this is the part I'll agree with someone else, I don't know if it was a dealer that mentioned it or if it was you, Mooch, but for the average person walking into the store, what does that poster mean to them? That's the key thing. Like you said,
it means they didn't do well enough on their SATs to understand it. I mean, I don't know. It looked like a math problem from where you took the shot.
Wow, sorry for the reflection and the fat guys.
No, it's not your fault. No, I'm not critiquing your photo skills.
It was a lot of sun. I couldn't see shit.
I'm critiquing the goddamn person in the marketing department that was like, this is what we should go with. Nothing
basically, it just needs to say on the sign, way
Definitely
better than
get something out there
PlayStation
more.
in every single way. That's basically what you're saying.
Yeah,
maybe.
Well, hold on. So, Mooch, are you saying that maybe we're so underwhelmed with shitty Xbox marketing that I'm thrilled by something that's not even that good?
I think,
Is that what you're trying to say?
You've gotten nothing for 3 years. And if you don't believe me, again, look at the goddamn display. It's a day one with a day one Connect sitting there full of dust. And now you see this cutout, and you're like, hurrah, we did it. Man. We broke through.
You can definitely do better. You can definitely do better. That's what you're trying to say.
And then I blame Noof. His picture makes it look giant, man. It looks like a fucking...
It comes up to your belly button, bro.
Dude, no, look. His head is like the top of the fucking Destiny 2 box.
It's pretty big. It's big enough. I mean, you'd have to be a blind-ass bat not to see that thing when you approach the door.
This is the only one that I've seen. I've seen some people tweet stuff out from their own areas and things like that. So
yeah, big cardboard displays and stuff.
Yeah, so I think that it'll be fine.
Yeah, they got this cardboard display.
Isn't it crazy though, guys? Let's take a step back from this and talk about just marketing as a whole. Take a step back. There's nothing that Sony's doing that's genius. They're just doing something.
And just doing their job.
Right, exactly. Like you never go to Five Guys or In-N-Out Burger, depending on where you live, and you're like, this hamburger's fucking warm. Nice work, cook. You know what I mean? Like, no, that's just what he does. He gives you a warm hamburger. I don't get it. You don't like praise the guy. People are praising Sony for putting up pictures and posters and relevant material. And all we're saying to Microsoft is, hey, look, guys, I don't even care if you do anything new and fresh. Can you just do what they're doing? Because you got some nice shit too. It would be nice if you could just, why don't you just show the same thing on a green poster?
Predator just tweeted out his, he was just at his store and they have like that half of an original Xbox One in that little cutout there, and the damn thing is like,
there it is.
Yeah, it looks it's playing like FIFA 14.
If I was doing marketing, here's what I would do. I would slap a big-ass Xbox One X poster inside of every fucking washroom urinal door, and I said, Xbox One X, putting the X back in sexy. Sexy, powerful, sexy, sleek, sexy fucking is it, baby. Yeah, that's what I do. When you're taking a fucking shit, you cannot escape it.
I don't... Jesus, you know what? Yeah, like they're gonna do more. I have a good feeling. That's all I'm saying. Like this gives me hype and hope that they're moving.
It's something.
We've been hyping and
Debbie Downer over there.
Listen, it sounds Debbie Downer. It's just you know, the thing is, you got to remember something too, Glitch. We've been doing the pep rally for about 3.5 years. You know, finally,
I'm still ready.
You want to win,
man.
You got to win one. Yeah, that's great. But listen, you gotta when you're up there doing your pom poms, you want to turn around and actually see somebody show up for homecoming.
Yeah,
you know that's the only thing. You know, there's nobody there.
It's absolutely okay to be critical and be negative about this stuff, because true fans of the platform, they complain, they want more because they're the most hardcore fans. If you don't complain, then that's a problem. So that's why we're talking about this. The only reason to bring it up because we want to see better, because we are that big a fan of the brand. So.
That's right. I agree with that. I really do, and I think that we all go in waves, and Crap's playing to the audience a bit, but I mean, like if he feels the same way, he wants to see more being done. And I mean, like that goes in dealers 100% spot on. We can't sit here and just be like, hey, look we lost 20 out of 24 NPDs. Let's keep this going. See how we end up later. Hey, it's just not working out. You got to do something.
I'm for me, honestly, man, it is a bummer sometimes, but I try to think positively because I do think of all the good things instead of just the bad things.
It's not, and this is not. Listen, I think we're all doing it. We all have huge smiles on our faces, and we're like, we're definitely anticipating the fall. We went through that the first 40 minutes of the show, but I mean, realistically, when it comes down to it, when you're going to switch from just games and talking about 4K beauty, and you're going to start talking about the business aspect of it a little bit, it's just like when you sit down at any meeting and you're like, this is going to be a rough meeting, but the first few minutes is like, how'd you fly in? Oh, flying in was kind of rough. Oh, that pizza place you told us to go to was terrible. How's the weather where you're from? And it's all this small talk before you get down to it. And you're like, maybe we should start talking about business now. And you're like, ugh. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, shit. Now we got to talk business. And that's the thing. Now we're at the point where we're talking business on the show. And it's not negative. It's just like we say, we're adding our 2 cents. I really do believe somewhere, somehow, I'm sure it's an 8th intern down the food chain that has to get the lattes after the other lattes have cold and frozen at 11 a.m. over there in Seattle. But somebody tells somebody that, you know what, I think we should start listening to some of these folks, not just this channel, many other podcasts, and say, listen, this is the route we should go. These are our customers, and they may have their ear to the ground. Now, why is it we're telling them? That still baffles me. When they have billions of dollars, they should have a marketing team that blows Industrial Light and Magic out of the water. But they
especially with the news of how profitable they are here lately.
Yeah, absolutely.
Making it rain on Aaron Greenberg, that's for sure. Aaron
spending all that marketing money on waffle makers, man.
Yeah, probably. I mean, or if you've seen his shoe collection, he's got a lot of Xbox shoes. Yeah. So, I don't know what the hell he's spending all his money. I would like to see more. I do think that we're going to be getting a lot. I'm not worried. I'm actually excited to see what they come up with, because they've got to have some amazing stuff. You're pushing this thing, and they've spent obviously a lot of money creating it, so they're going to have some kind of push for it. You have to imagine they're going to have some pretty intense pushing for this console and stuff like that going forward. I want to talk a little bit about the PlayStation Plus games that got announced. I actually like these games. I don't know if you guys have heard yet. Yeah. It is Just Cause 3, Assassin's Creed Freedom Cry, which is a standalone offshoot of Assassin's Creed 4, and a game called That's You. I guess that's a bonus game or whatever. But pretty damn good lineup. That's back to back.
It is.
Good lineups for Sony's PlayStation Plus.
Yeah.
What's your guys' thoughts about this?
I mean, what is it there? Just Cause 3 is an absolute dumpster fire, but for free, it's a get. You got to go grab that.
Experience and frame drops for absolutely free.
Absolutely, exactly. That's my point, Taylor. I mean, that game is a mess, but you know what? It is fun. It can be fun, and when it's free, it's definitely fun. Trust me.
I mean, look, I like it, but I mean, when you compare, what do you guys think about comparing that to the Xbox lineup for August as well? Which Trials, I'll be honest with you, I hadn't pulled the trigger on Trials for a while. Like I wanted it, but it was always just a little bit more expensive.
There's probably nobody here more excited for Trials than me, but I can tell you right now that the Xbox lineup doesn't hold a candle to the PlayStation Plus this month. I mean,
before we get into
when Mooch says it, damn.
Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. I mean, well, you got two mainstream games. Go ahead, Niv.
Can I just read out there was 2 false games with gold that I noticed in the last couple of days.
I saw one on Dealer's channel. That motherfucker.
One of them was on Dealer's channel.
The original one was Assassin's Creed Chronicles India with Firewatch, Condemned, and Forza Horizon 2.
Yeah.
And then the second list had gigantic Dark Souls 2, Damnation, and Stormrise.
And the first one was more credible because, like I said, Xbox Argentina, you know, the website, right? So you think maybe they knew what the fuck they were talking about, but hey, you know, it didn't turn
This is the only dealer. This goes back to one of the points I've made a long time ago. This is the only billion-dollar business that's completely and utterly upside down. It is completely and utterly upside down. There is no other business.
Who the fuck makes these?
Yeah, like, you know what I mean? I don't care if you're talking about the new Jordans. Okay, the Nike plant in Oregon isn't like, you know, coming out September 3rd, and then all of a sudden the New York office is like, no, it's November 15th. Oh, oops.
What the hell are those guys talking about?
What? Like, nobody. I don't care if we're talking about sneakers, we're talking about cars, I don't care if we're talking about shirts, houses, roofs. I don't care what we're talking. There's no, like you said, I don't blame you for running with that. That's an official site. Like, how do they not know? You know what I mean? It is ridiculous, but it is what it is. Nowadays, literally, you have to be tight-lipped until it's literally not only in print, but it has to be hand-delivered to you by a FedEx guy that carried Phil Spencer to your house.
Like I said, man, I'm never covering them early again. Never doing games with gold videos again.
Never again.
No,
never.
I don't blame him. I don't blame him.
It's over. Let's move on.
I don't blame him.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? What was the other one? You know what? I think the 360 games are pretty damn stellar on the Xbox. What is it? Bayonetta and what the hell's the other one?
Red Faction Guerrilla.
Armageddon.
Yeah, Armageddon.
Red Faction Armageddon. Yeah. So those are pretty good. What the hell is the other one besides Trials?
Slime Rancher.
Slime Rancher.
A game that's in the preview program, so you don't even get any achievements.
And they're on a roll with them not so great months, but they're free, so you can't really bitch about this kind of stuff. That's entitled right there.
Here's the thing, too, right? Like most of these games that come out, it seems like really good ones on the PS4 because I don't have a lot of PS4. Well, damn it, I'm creeping up on 100 on PS4, so I can't even say that anymore. So yeah, like but I have like almost 500 on Xbox, so it's easier for me. Like I have Red Faction and Bayonetta on 360 already, and I don't really care about Slime Rancher. Trials interest me.
Yeah, Trials has definitely got my attention. I mean, I'll play. Listen, here's the thing. So you want to do the ranking and the voting. You think which one's better? I mean, you have to give PS Plus the nod. But I'll tell you right now, I'll be playing Trials more than any game.
So hang on, you two haven't picked up Trials Fusion already?
I did not.
No, it's a good game.
I love it.
It's a good quality game.
I've played it. I don't own it.
I played the demo and I was like, this is pretty good, but it was always like $20 or something.
Yeah,
and I was like, I was like Mooch with fucking what the hell's that game with the
Shovel Knight?
Yeah, Shovel Knight. I was like, I don't know, man, $20. You know, I don't know, man. So I like games where Trials for me. Just a little info on this, little inside Mooch here. That's a game where you go, okay, so you play 2 hours of Fortnite, or you play a bunch of Gears with everybody, or even if you're into a single player game, you're like, I'm done. I don't really feel like taking on a whole new mission. But yet you're not done for the night. You know, you're still having a little bit something to drink, whatever's that. You can also jam out on Trials and try to beat these puzzles board by board, step by step, or, you know, get 100%, like knock the board dead. And while you're talking or having people over, pass the controller around, it's fun. It's either a crowd pleaser, a party game, or it's just something you play at the end of the night when you're just not ready to turn in for the night. It's a great game, man. It's a lot of fun. And a lot of people are like, oh my God, it's just so hard.
That's what I like about it. You know what I mean? I like. Who cares? Even if you're on level 60 for what, 2 weeks, who gives a shit? It's not the game you're playing focused on when you get home.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I did want to say something here because we got people in the chat talking about Rand's video, and you want us to talk about Rand's video so much. Let's get to 300 likes, and we'll talk about Rand's. video.
Yeah. Well, look, we'll talk about Rand's video when you get to 300 likes. So spank that like button.
Do it.
I don't have a problem with Rand. Like,
it's his opinion. Shit.
It is. It's like, dude. You're entitled to anybody on this panel. I don't have to agree with them. They don't have to agree with me, and I'm still going to get along with these guys. It's like that's how life is. Not everybody's going to agree with you. You're not always going to agree with everybody. It doesn't mean you got to fucking tar and feather people either.
No, over an opinion, over what was ultimately what his point was his marketing. He wasn't referring to the game. So if you watch the video, but like I said, 300 likes, we'll kind of maybe dive into that a little more.
Yeah. Oh, look at that! Just as
you're at 300.
Boom! All right, let's dive into it a little more.
So look, Rand made a video about Crackdown 3, and I don't know, he'd probably take a little bit of I don't want to say he's maybe influenced a little bit by some of my clickbaitiness. And he did a good job of doing that on that video, so you get people on there because he had an opinion about Crackdown 3, and his opinion wasn't even really that bad.
No.
It wasn't bad, and people were like, he's a turncoat, kick him out of the community. Look, there's no community to really kick him out. Anybody can have an Xbox and be a part of the community.
Mm-hmm.
That's the funny thing. Now there's little cliques and stuff where people can get along or whatever or not. But that's totally up to them, and like for me personally, there's people that I won't associate with, but that doesn't mean that that they can't be in the community or anything like that. It's live and let live.
You know how we've been shitting on Xbox marketing for the past 30 minutes, right? That in the chat was agreeing almost unanimously. That's what Ram was talking about. Xbox and even Major Nelson was pissed off about this when they let people on there that have never played a video game in their life stream one of their brand new games like Crackdown. And ultimately, how you show a game off is going to be how it's perceived. If you got somebody that doesn't know how to look around or even jump, that's a problem. It makes your game look bad. That's a fact. I get comments all the time. Man, that Forza gameplay looks good. I need to get back into that. I got one the other day about Fortnite. It is a reality that the better your gameplay is, more people want to play it and experience it. And when they let some people that don't know how to play games jump and not even know how to look around, that's a misfire. It is making
you don't want me showing off neck too because it's going to look like shit, right? So that's
all Ram was saying. The marketing is off.
That's a great point, Dealer. And I mean, anyone who doesn't understand what Dealer's saying, anybody that streams through Twitch or I can't really say Mixer because Mixer's too new, so the numbers don't count. But Twitch has been around for a while. If you go to Twitch and you look at a game you want to watch for a while being played, and you notice that the game's up to like 2,500 viewers currently. You tune in. That son of a bitch is not only playing the game well, he's giving you a tutorial, or she's giving you a tutorial. They're like, well, come on, we'll go over to this cave here. This is where you're going to get that funny hat you've been looking for fucking weeks. I'll show you how to get that. And you're like, going, oh, all right, and I'll sit down and watch you get the funny hat. But then all of a sudden you go to Twitch, and you go to the person who's got like 5 people, and they're like, hold on a second, my seat's not on right. Wait. Hold on.
Hang on. I don't even know how to jump. I just realized that.
Did I just hit the start button and pause this thing, or is it faulty? What happened? My controller's fucked up.
It's Crapgamer walking back and forth on Knack.
You guys complain about the Knack gameplay. This was way worse than Crap's Knack gameplay before he had his TV off. I mean, come on.
There's a reason that they have developers to go up and do this on stage at E3 because they want the best representation of their game. The last time I remember seeing an abysmal E3 representation was when they first brought the first Kinect out. Remember that, guys, when they brought the fucking kids up on stage and it was just horrendous?
Oh, my God.
Yeah, bringing back some bad memories, right? And it's the same as watching people actually try to demo a Kinect that actually don't know how the Kinect works properly, and they're waving their arms like idiots. It's like, well, the thing can't track you that fast. It's not fucking trying to pick up Bruce Lee motion here. Like, come on, like, So, and I get where Rand is going with it. Like I said, and Crackdown needed some positive reinforcement, like a positive demo, and having like inexperienced people try it out in a public forum was not a great idea.
Just watch the video. Don't just read the title.
Yeah, it's always important to, just like if you see something, watch the video before you just hate on the guy and try to, like, Rand's a good guy. He's an Xbox dude. He spends most of his time on Xbox. He plays some PS4 too. He has a strong opinion. We all do. All this nonsense about let's do this, let's do that. That's stupid.
Yeah.
Quit being stupid. Don't be like that, Xbox. Be like some of you guys. Like seriously.
Yeah,
That's
not,
some of
it's
the
not do or die in this bitch. You know, it really isn't. So.
It isn't. And I probably should have asked him to come on tonight to talk a little bit about it. But since he does another podcast earlier in the day, it's hard to line up to kind of do that.
Somebody said Rand freaks out over, you know, Rand does overreact some. I've given him shit on this podcast about that before, but Rand's a good guy.
We all do.
You know, yeah, we all have our little spurts. So he's a good guy. He's got more gamer score than most of us combined, you know?
Yeah, I mean, and the guy saying he's a pony or whatever, the dude's still #1 every month on my list for most gamer score that month.
Yeah.
So regardless of what you guys, I mean, the dude gets like 4, 5, 6,000. I'm cracking up because Terry Crews, who I told you he replied to that tweet, like nobody would care about Crackdown 3 if it didn't have Terry Crews. And he's like, so start caring, bitch. And then Aaron Greenberg replied with a gift that said, boom. And the official Crackdown Twitter replied to the guy too with the Terry Crews thing laughing. The gift. Like they're going in on it, man. I love this. Nice. They're savage, man. I fucking love that. Like, I got to be honest. I wish all of Microsoft would do that. You know, look, Aaron Greenberg, even though he might be doing a little bit of shitty job because he doesn't have a lot of money right now to mess with, that guy can be a complete fucking savage when need be. Like, I wish that they would unshackle him. Like, you can just tell, like, Aaron Greenberg is, like, tied up, and he's got the shackles, and he's pulling on him because he wants to be free. Let him be free, Phil, for the love of God. Let him be free. Please. Let him, like, just uncuff the guy. Let him go out there and do his thing, man.
Yeah, no, I think Aaron Greenberg should be set free to do that crap, and then also not doing. He should just switch roles. I don't know, for some reason. I think he should do more of the stage presence and being more of the spokesman for. Maybe I would like him to actually take Larry's job, and maybe let somebody else do the marketing. I don't know. Unless he's being handcuffed on the marketing end.
Well, he's got a boss too, Mike Nichols or whatever. We don't know.
Yeah, Mike Nichols. Yeah. So it is difficult. Let's see.
Everybody's got a boss, but when you're the guy who's called the marketing guy, and there's a problem in marketing, you can't. Like, you got to go to the marketing guy. He's the marketing guy.
Kevin Garcia goes, Rand said that The Last of Us was his favorite game of all time. Who cares? Mooch probably thinks that's his favorite game of all time.
It's not my favorite game of all time, but I definitely think The Last of Us is.
Yeah, it's just an opinion, guys. It doesn't mean you're not an Xbox guy.
Yeah. Like, holy crap. Look, I thought Uncharted 2 was phenomenal last generation, like a top 5 game. And I was still an Xbox dude. Like, it doesn't mean anything. Like, you know what I'm saying?
I guess the next thing is my favorite game isn't an Xbox exclusive, so oh my god.
I mean, my favorite game's The Witcher 3. That's not an Xbox.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
you like what you like, you know? Shit.
It is. So
games, BioShock is probably one of my favorite games of all time. I mean, that's
a game that needs to come back.
Tell me about it. But the problem is, if they don't get Ken Levine or Ken Levine involved, it's not the same.
He's working on System Shock, I think.
I know. Yeah, which is fine. That's fine. I'm looking very much forward to that. I thought that would have been out by now. I don't know why I thought that. I must have been reading something incorrectly. I thought that was due out this fall, but it's not happening.
I have no idea.
Next year should be killer.
Did you guys hear Jack Ryan talking? This guy. He's talking about a PS4 Pro upgrade coming out before the PS5.
Pro?
Yeah, literally a Pro.
Quadruple stack.
Yeah, you know, it'd be like a quadruple burger instead of the thing. The thing is this, right? Sony put themselves in this situation where they talked about power and resolution and all this stuff. Now they got this kind of half measure. The One X comes out and beats it. Now they could be sitting there and go, well, let's come out with the true next gen thing. But I don't think that the tech is there yet, or it would be very, very expensive. So the next best thing would be to come out with something more on par with the Xbox One X.
The Pro.
Literally the fucking Pro.
I don't think that's going to happen, crap. You're starting to get to the point where what we talked about 3 years ago, before we knew these mid-gen things were going to be in existence. Now you're going to start confusing people. Like, they're going to be, should I get a PS4 Slim, a vanilla that's used, a Pro, or a Pro? Yeah,
we're not saying that it's coming out for sure. We're just saying that
there's
an executive that's like, I don't know what we're doing.
That's the same executive that literally has a fucking red oh shit button that he hits, and then something stupid comes out of his mouth every time.
Listen,
stupid.
he is the guy that said, "Who would want to play old games? You didn't buy." You know what I mean? Like,
he sells PS Now.
Yeah, he said that. He also said that the reason why they don't do cross-platform play with other consoles is because they got to protect the kids and all this kind of shit.
Yeah,
so
it doesn't make any sense.
yeah, like it doesn't really make a lot of sense. A lot of the things of what he's saying. But with this, I did find it a little bit interesting because this isn't the first time that I heard that they might do another iterative upgrade to the Pro, and also he mentions it and I've heard Albert Pinello mention this too, the phone thing, and I know a lot of people are like, phones. You know what I mean? Like, what's up with that? Why do people compare it to the phones? They buy phones every couple years, or sometimes every other year, or what? You know what I mean?
Well,
so
those are subsidized, though.
Yeah, like they are, but they're also more expensive. So
yeah,
I mean,
you pay for that every month, though, a small chunk every month through your contract. So it's a little
Microsoft
different.
did that with the 360 at a time. Remember?
It failed though hard.
Well, you had to buy Xbox Live for a 2-year contract or whatever, and then you basically got one. I think what was it for free or something?
At least they tried it though.
Yeah, I mean, like I originally thought they would do it on this because they've got some kind of deal. With the
it would have
company.
to be. It would have to be a bigger service for it to be worthwhile for most people, right? Like it would have to be like you sign up, you get a discount. You sign up for like 3 years of Xbox Live at a discount, and then 3 years of Game Pass at a discount or whatever. And you get a discount off of the price of the system, for like by like $200 or something. Otherwise, people don't see a reason to do it, right?
Either way, if there is a Pro 5.7 Pro, it won't be out for another couple years. So
right,
it's gonna.
I'd be happy if they at least took the fucking Pro and at least got rid of that ugly casing and put it into something that at least looks more like a console instead of a AAA Oreo cookie.
But boom, boom.
I think it's ungodly. Look, it's just.
Yeah, like I don't know how you go from the original PS4, which was actually quite sexy, and then they fucking the new Slim is like, and then you get this triple decker, and that fucking can heat up a fucking submarine. I don't know.
I think when the first Slim was built, it kind of reached this little arm back on its back, like, where the fuck's my optical audio port? That thing was pissed off because
you don't even need.
You definitely get their base PS4 over the Slim any day.
Yeah, speaking of PS4 stuff, and sorry, we usually don't do this much PS4 stuff, but there was a little bit in the news. Uncharted Lost Legacy got some gameplay.
Yeah.
Mooch, like me and you are both Uncharted fans.
Yeah.
You noticed it too. The fucking game was a little bit grainy.
It didn't look right. Something looked a little off. But listen, I'm not going to go out and go on a Mooch rant because Naughty Dog's notorious for this. They're notorious for doing this. Remember Uncharted 4 with the 2 folly flop demos they did on stage at the E3s and stuff in the PSX where he fell through the floor. They do this all the time, and then at the end of the day, it comes out and people are like, "It's glorious, it's glorious."
well, speaking of glorious,
it's like, okay, well, it's gonna look great. I mean, the only thing I felt was here's my dilemma. They're trying to step out of the safe zone, get rid of Nathan, and enter the female protagonist, but they did that seamlessly, so seamlessly. It's just Nathan with long hair. And that's the problem I have. You didn't, from what I saw, I'm just playing more Uncharted. And people go, so, Mooch, what's wrong with that? You're an Uncharted fan. There's nothing wrong with it. I'm buying it. I'm going to play it. I'm going to like it. But I thought we were supposed to, turn the page, right? I thought we were turning
it was all done. Remember? Naughty Dog was done with Uncharted. And now everybody's there like, well, maybe not. This could be the offshoot of something else. Nathan Drake's done.
This could also be $40. Huh?
Yeah, I mean, listen, like I was looking on M4G and it's like Uncharted: The Lost Legacy gives glorious 4K screenshots, captured on PS4 Pro. Right, this game is not 4K.
No,
right.
I mean, Uncharted 4 is 1440p, half of
4K.
4K.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. So, and to me, it doesn't even. I already thought it looked really, really good. Like Uncharted 4, like no lie, is probably one of the best looking. Yeah, it looks fucking. When you get to that one part where you like the flatlands with the mountains and shit, like holy crap! I remember thinking, wow. And then Hellheimer, I thought was trolling me. He's like, "This is better than most games on PC. I swear." Like that's what he says a lot. I swear.
You know what? The game looks good, and it's going to look good when it comes out. It's pretty much going to be on par, at least with the current Uncharted 4. I mean, it's same engine. It's obviously just leapfrogging off of that development cycle there, and probably with most of the same team intact. But
Who's
I think it's
Darth
going to
Vader?
look good.
Is that Hellheimer?
It's probably Noof again.
No, Noob is
Noob's
talking.
No, it's not Noob.
I'm the one talking. I don't know how I can talk and Darth Vader at the same time.
You're talented.
Talented, man.
You're talented.
Ventriloquist, damn it.
But the only thing that I kept getting this weird aura is when I'm watching this video and watching Chloe chat, I'm thinking like Tomb Charted all the way now, because now they've got her as the lead character along with what's the other girl's name, Nadine, and like she's so much like Lara Croft now, you know, like the look, almost like the outfit, and then she's got the British accent, and you're like, Jesus, like
What'd you call it? Tomb Charted?
Tomb Charted.
Yeah. It was Dude Raider. The original
Dude
nickname
Raider.
for it was Dude Raider.
Yeah.
So yeah, they definitely were taking some inspiration from that. And now it seems like they're just kind of go ahead and taking the whole idea and going with the one. I'm excited for it, but I just like that bit of picture that we saw was a little bit underwhelming, just in my opinion. I still think it'll probably be good, and you're right, Mooch. Like they'll be like, they've done it again, Naughty Dog. Wow,
Naughty Dog, 5 stars, glory.
I think Farscape in the chat says it really well. I'll be honest, I like Uncharted 4, but for me, the story is over.
Yeah.
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 I agree. I agree 100% with that.
That's what happens when you go with these realistic themes, though. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, it's an Indiana Jones thing, right? Everyone's tired of Indiana Jones, too. You know, it was really cool when Harrison Ford replaced the novel token that he took off with a bag of rocks, and then the fucking big ball chased him, and then, you know, the Temple of Doom, and, you know, the guy.
I really like Temple of Doom.
I thought Temple of Doom was great, but nonetheless, that doesn't matter. My point is, right after that, you start jumping the shark, and that's the same thing with Nathan Drake. The story, I like it. I really do, and I think what people like about it is that it's a linear-esque type game, and it's got great scenery, and the writing's good. You kind of really get in the story with Sully and Nathan, and now you don't have Sully and Nathan. All of a sudden, you have the ladies, and I'm like, okay, so build on this. Yeah. And I watched a 13, 14-minute run, and I'm like, this is just Nathan Drake, but they put a woman's voice in there, and I'm like, that's not what I thought you promised us. I thought we were taking this somewhere else, and that's not what they're doing. And look hey, I got news for you, right? Money grab, it works. It's a winning combo. But when you have like a Halo, which is sci-fi, you can go everywhere with sci-fi. You can go kill somebody and bring them right back to the next game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Who knows?
Freeze them for 30 years and come back.
Exactly. The planet absolutely stopped in mid-spin and started reversing its way around the sun and brought him back. It doesn't matter. Whatever you want to bring up, it can happen. And that's the thing. When you start going more realistic, you kind of say what we just said, where it gets played out a bit, unfortunately.
And not to crap on the two ladies in that game, because I think they're great characters, but I don't think they're as enthralling as Sully and what's Drake's brother? What's his name?
Plot hole. Oh wait, no, sorry, that's not his name.
that was his name,
whatever you want to call him. Like, they could have been more interesting with those two characters doing, like, you know, because they're looking off in the sunset towards the end of the last game. You know, it could have been more interesting with those two going off and doing their own shindig. You know what I mean?
You never know. I mean, we haven't really heard the dialogue between the chicks and the new expansion. We'll see how engrossing they are.
I'm gonna play it. I'm just hoping that there's no crates, and I'll leave it at that. But also, I just want to point out that again, this is a situation where they're getting they're calling that a standalone game. So that's the second Uncharted game in 2 years. And that would be the 5th game overall and 6th, 7th, actually, if you count the HD remasters and the Vita game. And that franchise has only been out since 2007.
That's more than Forza. That's geez.
Yeah. So there's that. There's also this Sony Santa Monica. They've already said that they're planning sequels beyond next year's God of War. Now, listen, I love God of War. I'm going to get this next God of War game. It interests me. There is a couple things that I have issue with, so hopefully they aren't too big of a thing. But the fact that they're already like, hey, we're planning for multiple games after this one, and I'm reading the comments on this N4G article, and everybody's like, yeah, woo, I can't wait, more God of War, thank God, you know, we love God of War, we love more God of War, more. I agree, more is better. But why is more only better if it's on a PlayStation or Nintendo console?
Right.
That's the main point that I would want to make.
Right.
Nobody really makes this point. How come more is better on PlayStation and Nintendo, but not Xbox? Let's discuss.
Yeah, well, that's what someone in the chat who's like, you know, he's like, Mooch, what do you expect? Elvis to come out in Uncharted and change the whole story? No, I don't expect that to happen. But why is it you can have more of the same, and that's okay? And then the minute we have another Halo come out, they're like, oh, here we go with Halo again. More of the same bullshit. And I'm like, well, that's not fair. That's you can't take two of the lead franchises and complain on either. And I'm not complaining about the Uncharted 4 DLC. That's the standalone DLC. What is it? They have to make up their mind. Is it DLC or is it standalone? I got news for you.
Standalone DLC.
It's more like DLC to me and not standalone, because from the footage I've seen, it's the exact same backgrounds and backdrops that were in Uncharted 4, including even the Jeep where you drive around in that shiny mud. So, I mean, my point being is that I don't see why they're able to say that they're going to do something different and they don't. Then if Halo has a spin-off or anything like that, they're like, how dare you? More Halo? It's a travesty to the community.
That's a good point. And even the most balanced of us, you have to sit there and look at that and look at all the people that were clamoring for more Gran Turismo over the past 5 years. You know, and Uncharted, God of War, it's the same on both sides. The fans want more. More of a good thing is not a bad thing.
Yeah.
But if you're on the other side and you see, oh, they've got another one of these things and people are enjoying it, you're going to try to shit on it. When in fact, Mooch and Crap are right. There's been 7 Uncharteds, like 20 Ratchet and Clanks, 7 or 8, 9 Gran Turismos. Yeah. There's a lot of these games out there. Tons of God of War, 5 or 6 God of Wars. Yeah. You can't really say that on the Xbox side. You can't just bring up one side and not the other.
Yeah. And actually, God of War, there's God of War 1, 2, 3, Ascension. Then there's this new God of War. Then there was also the remastered God of War 3. There was a remaster collection on PS3 and 2 PlayStation portable games that got remastered and put on the PS3 and Vita. And so there's a shit ton of God of War games, 14 Ratchet and Clank games. Gran Turismo, I think 7 or 8 in the main series, but there's also been like A-Spec and Prologue and some of these offshoots as well.
Sold some demos.
Yeah, so exactly. That's my whole point. You know what I mean? Like, it seems like Sony can get away with doing these things, and I'm on the point where I don't think it's a problem. I like that there's going to be more God of War or more Uncharted or what have you, but I also like that there's going to be more Halo and more Gears of War. So I'm getting tired of seeing that argument when people go, yeah, God of War, yeah, Uncharted, and oh man, Halo, that shit's milked. The Gears, that's played out, man. That's milked. Why does Microsoft keep milking it? And before someone comes at me with this argument, well, Sony's coming out with these other exclusives too. I'm like, bitch, you did notice that Microsoft has had Dead Rising, Rise. They've done Quantum Break, Sunset Overdrive, the first Titanfall. They've done a lot of other shit. Recore. They've done a lot of other games.
And by done, you mean either develop or pay for development.
Yeah, exactly. Ori and the Blind Forest, State of Decay, Sea of Thieves. They're getting these games out. And so your Crackdown 3 is going to release this November. They've got a shit ton of good games. Cuphead. So they've done it too. Exactly. So I don't understand why it's okay for one but not the other. And then same thing with Nintendo. Like, people love Zelda and Mario. Good for you. But why are they allowed to have 30 iterations, but we can't have 5 Gears of Wars without it being considered terrible or awful? You know what I mean? That would be the point that I would make. So
yeah, good point.
I would think that a guy with a Corvette emblem in the chat knew more about a racing game. Forza went leaps and bounds improvement with the physics and Forza 5 and up. So they're constantly iterating. They're adding wide bodies to Forza 7. It's not just copy and paste. They keep adding cars. They do need to increase the upgrades. They need to change some stuff out there. But it is the best since Forza 1. It's been on top in terms of race ratings. And I think people agree it's on top when it comes to racing.
I mean, I used to play Gran Turismo back in the PS1 days, but then I didn't really like how those games handled. And then when Forza Motorsport came out, that kind of ruined other racing games for me because they just don't have that physics. They don't handle as well. I'm just not as big of a fan of that. You know what I mean? So for me, it's all about Forza Motorsport and Forza Horizon. Like Forza Motorsport, man, that game absolutely looks phenomenal. I'm going to get it and play it early. Obviously, I'm not going to finish it. I haven't even really completed Forza 6 yet. I still go back and play it sometimes. Yeah. You know, I got the DLC and stuff like that for it, which I'm really excited
Somebody
about.
mentioned 3D puddles, copy and pasted right from Forza 3, right? No, that's a first and exclusive to Forza 6. So,
yeah. Also, yeah, just so you guys know, Forza Motorsport 7 is the first. Talk about like expanding. It's the first to have dynamic weather. So they keep adding things. And when you look at Gran Turismo Sport, that completely tore down everything from Gran Turismo, right?
Project Cars had dynamic weather. We do have to put that out.
Yeah, I know that. Yes, Project Cars did, but Project Cars is a steaming pile of shit.
It's so horrible.
So it's bad. I tried playing it, and it crashed and was like, "No, do not play." So yeah, I didn't go back to that shit. Just sorry. If you like it, hey, more power to you, man. But I'm just telling you, as far as I'm concerned, Forza Motorsport is the way
I
to
like
go.
my cars to have weight and shit when I drive
Yeah.
them in the game.
It felt like you're just skating, and then you're just like, you start off in this little cart, and it's terrible. It's like, and it
I feel like you're playing
bad.
Mario Kart, but it's so twitchy. It's like, holy shit, do I have fucking polio? What's going on here?
It's bad. It's fucking.
That game was absolutely great. Come on.
Yeah. Woo. I want to talk about something that I did a video on today. This quote unquote insider says that Microsoft is not investing in their first party games, according to this Matt guy from NeoGAF. He says that their focus is on cost controls and profitability, and that they're not really going to push any kind of, they haven't done anything, which we kind of know is wrong since we've seen the LinkedIn profiles of them hiring for new IP. So just wanted your guys' thoughts on this.
Well, I mean, what he said, Crap, wasn't necessarily all wrong. I think what he said they are doing is true, but what he negated and said they aren't doing is not true. They are investing in first-party games. I just don't think they're doing it at the level that me and you and maybe the panel are expecting, or the chat. You said it yourself. We saw when you're hiring for something, I mean, you can't go out shopping with your better half for a house, and then you go home later on and you're like, yeah, well, we got a new house. You're like, what? Nate, where's your new house? Oh, we went out window shopping, kind of looking around. Yeah, we're going to get a house. So you're getting a house, or do you have a house? Both. It's like you can't. My point is they got the ad out there to go out there and make this game. So it's not made yet. So maybe his information is that, they weren't doing this. Now they're starting to. I mean, I don't know how far along they are, but I mean, Aaron Greenberg, where I think he's wrong, Crap, is Aaron Greenberg has come out recently and said,
Phil has come out too.
Phil too, but Aaron said we have a lot of games to show you next year. They're like, we're not going to show you games that are 3-4 years away. We're not doing it.
Seem to have a little bit of confusion too about Forza Motorsport 7.
Clear it up for us.
Yeah, I mean, it's they're saying upscaled is the same as 4K. There's a massive difference in pixel density between native 4K and something that's just scaled up to fit your screen, still at 1080p, right? Not even close to the same thing. And secondly, with Forza 7, they did say it's not just the same exact settings. They're going to actually increase to high ultra settings as well at native 4K. So you'll have settings on Forza 7 on the X that you will not have on the S. Even if you're at 1080p, you'll see those extra settings. It'll just be on a 1080p display. So there is going to be some differences there. I think it's going to look great no matter where you play it.
Yeah, I agree. That to me is the game, man. That's going to be a real show. I like that they showed. I remember going back to the trailer. They showed like the desert and stuff and the characters, and we were like, "What's this?" And then it's Forza.
It's Halo.
It's Forza. Oh no, it's Forza. God damn it! But yeah, I mean, still, that's good for me because I love Forza. But
that game looks beautiful, man. I can't wait to get that one.
Yeah, I agree 100%. But what's interesting about this, right, is because Gaming Bolt ran with this article and they linked NeoGAF. But what's funny is people are like, well, how do you know? And he says, I'm not speculating. And then someone replied to him, you work at Xbox then. Only top line or group managers would have an understanding of what the yearly and projected long-term investments are. And Phil said recently they signed a couple of deals for games. So you must know what they are then and what kind of budget is being attributed to each game. Basically calling this guy out for his bullshit because you would need to know. And if you did know, you're not going to sit there and run the NeoGAF and fucking go, hey, they're not doing any games, because Phil did come out and say they just signed new games and they're making them. And to your point, Dealer, I remember before E3, you were saying that you thought it was going to be a down year and a half or so before they started really seeing games come out.
Mm-hmm.
A lull. And I agreed with that. I thought, hey, we already, when they said last year, what was it? We've got 15 games in development. I counted the games and I knew them all. You know what I mean?
Hey, bottom line is Phil said they're investing $1 billion into their first party to build games. Now, whether or not that's building new studios as well, hopefully that's the case, because it seems like if you build something yourself, it's got a little bit more passion poured into it. But nonetheless, $1 billion reinvested into games for Xbox is good. No matter how you try.
Guys, it's funny you say that. And back in 2012, when we saw that $1 billion was going into gaming and this and that, I really thought it the same way as we think of like baseball. When I find out that like a team has their entire farm system coming up to the majors, I'm like, wow, this is going to be great. It's cheaper in the long run. It's investment. You have these guys for 4 or 5 years before you got to worry about arbitration and contracts. The problem is a lot of the farm teams in baseball that end up being just nothing. They fizzle out. And I actually am a little bit different. I would rather see $1 billion spent on locking down major third-party deals, et cetera, et cetera. And I think we can go down that road again if you want to, or we can say we've been down it a million times.
Well, no, here's what I'll say. Like what Sony did when at the beginning of this generation, they paid for all those marketing deals because they had shit off for games. That's what I feel like Microsoft should do a little bit of that.
Yes.
You know, when they don't have the games like this year, like they do have some games coming out like I think PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds is a dark horse. I think this thing could be huge for Xbox. Yeah. Right. Everybody's talking about it. So, and it could come to PlayStation as well later, but who cares? Because wherever it comes out first is where people are going to go, you know, as far as like the consoles and things like that. So, I think that's going to be huge. And I think that just even looking forward to what they have, like even if you just wanted to look at them as having Forza and Crackdown as 2 big games left this year, it's not a stellar first party lineup. They started off with Halo Wars 2, a very niche title. You know, so it would have behooved them to have some marketing rights for some of the bigger games earlier in the year, because even Fortnite fucking has a deal with PlayStation.
Yeah,
doesn't it?
I think the real spotlight
PlayStation character if you pre-order it on that PlayStation 4.
Spotlight's got to shine on Xbox at E3 next year. They need to show a lot of games that are coming out. Because let me tell you something, right, guys? I mean, let's first party wise, after spring of next year. We don't know what the hell's coming down the road.
Yes, that's exactly a good point.
They really got to show some shit that's coming out.
Hey, I just want to see in the chat. Go ahead, Noof, and then I'll go ahead and do this.
Just gonna say, guys, Microsoft, as one of the latest articles has said, a $9 billion business, and that is just from the Xbox division alone, and that's not even their biggest division. You know, that's the difference between Microsoft and Sony. Microsoft is a huge corporation. The Xbox is just one part of its overall equation. Like, they are successful at this point no matter what, you know what I mean? And the bottom line here is Sony, yeah, I'm going to commend Sony. They're doing a pretty good job of snagging the rights for this game, that game, marketing like everything underneath the sun. And of course, why wouldn't you? Because that's all they have going for them right now. That's the only division in their company that's keeping this friggin' place alive, and that's keeping them from filing for bankruptcy. I mean, because it's the only thing is their TVs have tanked, their fucking cell phones tanked, their computers tanked. They shut down all their Sony stores. So what else does Sony got going for them besides the PlayStation? Fucking nothing, man.
I think that benefits the PlayStation guys. Don't you think?
It benefits the game people, yes, and that's what I'm saying. They are going hardcore on the games division, so the game players are benefiting. But I'm just saying they don't have the wiggle room like Microsoft has. And while we might see a glut of games right now that are not coming for the Xbox, I guarantee you at some point the roles will be reversed. Sony's going to be in between a development point at some point where their games are not ready to go. Microsoft is going to have the fucking shitload of games.
Well, we went through that. That was the first 3 years of this generation. Noof. Sony didn't have many games at all. And you're right. Once you get past God of War, then you really just have The Last of Us 2. And then it slows down again. I'm not including, of course, there's a lot of Japanese titles that we're unaware of, but Phil looks like he went out and did his homework. He scooped up a good chunk of Japanese games for the Xbox One. They seem to be console exclusive. I don't know how that's going to pan out.
James Cunham's comment in the chat here, he kind of has something to do with that. He wants to know why developers are putting their game on PlayStation, not Xbox, knowing that Sony aren't really investing money into their title. And that answer is really simple, but it's just the install base. If a company's only got so many millions to develop a game, they generally will put it on the biggest install base to make more money to finish the other platforms' versions. Doesn't mean that games like Lawbreakers isn't coming to Xbox. Cliffy B has said that himself. It just means they're going to get it first, much like Firewatch and some other games that we've gotten over here.
And to put it in terms of anybody here who's Canadian, I know my friend Noof will get this, but I played hockey when I was younger. I got news for you. The more shots on goal, better chance you get goals. And the point of the matter, what I'm saying there is what Dealer said. When you have a larger install base, that's just a larger crop of people that may purchase your game.
Steve Ballmer's just business spot says, why the hell isn't Microsoft buying up more studios, especially Japanese ones? One, they couldn't really buy Japanese studios because there's some kind of deal going on where outside, if you're a Japanese company, you can't really be bought out without a bunch of hoops and stuff by an American company. Yeah, so that's why. Because I can remember when Mr. Keep It Xbox, I love that dude. What's his name? Mooch.
Blazing Phoenix.
Blazing Phoenix used to be like, buy Capcom, keep it Xbox, buy Sega, keep it Xbox. It's like, it doesn't really work that way. No. You know what I mean? There's a lot of things going on there. that kind of prelude to those situations. So they could open up. The thing that they could do, I don't know if they would buy a studio. If I were them and I could tell them to buy any studio, it used to be, I'd say, buy Remedy, but let's face it, they've come out with a couple of subpar games that nobody bought.
Remedy would be a useless purchase for
Playground Games would be the one that I would tell them to buy.
They had their chance to buy legendary IPs like Mortal Kombat and more, and they passed up on it for a few $1 million. They could have owned Mortal Kombat, and they didn't do it. So even if Sega and Capcom could have been sold off to them, right, if they weren't extremely nationalist and didn't want the Americans to own their company, then they probably still wouldn't have done it. We don't Microsoft,
right. even though technically Sega started as an American company, but that's a different thing.
I don't know. I know Sega Japan's like in charge. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well. The thing is they would have to open up a couple more studios. Like, I think that would go a long way with easing some people's fears. But like, we've heard the rumor that they turned down the chance to get an exclusive game from Playground Games, like an open world RPG. And the only reason why they would do that, whether they have their own that's coming out or something along those lines, that would have to be it.
Packs in it.
I guess. I mean, they do like having stuff with packs, but I mean, like, they've got stuff to show. Like, next E3 is gonna, and I know it sounds so lame. Wait till next E3, but you have to, because they literally only did E3 to E3 with their games. The stuff that we saw is all supposed to be out between E3 and E3. So next E3 is when we're gonna see all the shit. Yeah, next E3 bot hammer.
Well, no, I mean, you know, the thing about bot hammer, but you know, the funny thing about it is that in Hellhammer, Crap's right. That's what I was saying a second ago. You're going to see all the big games: Cuphead, Assassin's Creed, Crackdown, Forza, Sea of Thieves, State of Decay. That all of those are coming out before. Yes, we saw another bunch of games, but a lot of those were the smaller Japanese titles and indie games. They need what is coming now from Microsoft's first-party studios that we don't know about. Those are games that are going to have to launch next fall, and then they have to have now we know, right? We know spring is hot. Spring is not what it used to be E3.
Yeah, so State of Decay 2, Sea of Thieves. We're getting
but I'm saying
sometime next year.
But I'm talking about 19 now. I'm saying, like, when we see E3, they've got to show us at least 2 IP for the fall, and they've got to show us 2 IP for the spring of 19. That's what E3 needs to show next year.
That's kind of what they did this year.
Right, exactly.
Sea of Thieves and State of Decay 2.
But the only difference, though,
the
only difference is everything we saw that was coming this fall and next spring, we saw last E3. So what I'm saying to you is this is a huge, now what are you going to do, Microsoft? Because you need to show us something nobody's seen. As far as we know, the hype level, the proof is in the pudding is all at 0 because we don't know what you're planning. And you want us to buy 2 games in the fall and 2 in the spring. We don't even know what they are yet.
I kind of like this, though, because I
know
people freak the fuck out, even though we told them 6, 8 months ago, we told them this, that there's going to be a lull for the next year or two. They're working on new games. Right. And you're not going to see that for a little bit, right? Right. And we told them this, and they're freaking out. Even, you know, we're not.
Yeah, there's no reason to freak out, but it is risky.
But check this out. Like, even though, like, and I do agree, they're going to have to show some shit that are coming 2019 next E3. But look, this is what the next year's lineup could be. They could start off with State of Decay 2, Sea of Thieves, and then you could see a Halo 6, Forza Horizon 4, Ori 2 situation, maybe with another game thrown in there, which I don't think that'd be a bad lineup at the end of the year. I think that'd be a really good lineup.
Was your lineup Ori 2 what?
Halo 6 and Forza Horizon 4.
Halo 6 is not coming next year.
I don't know.
I do. I'm just telling you that's not going to happen. There's no way that's going to happen.
I think it'll come next year. I think they're doing the what they should do, and this is the reason I'm more excited for Halo now, because I didn't see it this year. Because when it comes to the clockwork, by all accounts, we could have seen something this year easily, right?
Yeah.
Could have seen it, but they held it off, much like Fallout 4. Boom, here's the gameplay. Here's the gameplay a few months later. Maybe they're going that approach. I think Phil is learning from his earlier escapades with certain games to kind of hold off and surprise and delight people.
You know what? That's an important part, because think about this, right? What they did was they got through an E3 without having to rely on Halo, which, whether that's him listening to idiots that hate Xbox or not, you know, a lot of people were saying, well, all they got is Halo and Gears. What are they going to do? And then they didn't show either of those things. And some people were like, hey, they don't even have Halo and Gears. What the fuck? You know what I mean? So it's like you really see the damned if you do, damned if you don't situation. I still think they do Halo 6 next year. Like, if you don't, then that really puts Gears 5 2019. I just don't see them going that, you know what I mean? Like going that long without those games.
I can see Gears of War next year.
I don't know if they jumped Halo. You think Gears would come out again before Halo? Because I don't think they do that.
So.
Yeah, Gears just hit last year, so
yeah. I think that they're definitely gonna. I just think, and we know that Forza Horizon 4 is going to be a thing. You know, like that's gonna be a thing next year.
How do we know that?
Shut up. We know damn well that that's gonna come out next year. Come on.
That or that new RPG, right?
Well, no, that's made by. They just started that. That's made by their other team or whatever. You would have to assume that they literally start on the next Horizon right after that one finished. You know, and then
I thought Phil went there and saw it. I don't know. You just never know. We'll see.
Yeah,
all I know is that the next Horizon needs cops.
You know what I want to see? What else can they do? I would like to see them maybe go to China or something, right? Or like a different country and. You know what I mean? Just some place that glows or something.
They're always in a different country.
I know,
Come
but like
I didn't have to avoid moose on the road.
No, I mean they already did the snow thing.
Let's go to Kentucky.
Yeah, no. You know what? I really go revisit the first. I would have loved the second Forza Horizon to be the Games with Gold 360 game because I would have loved to have gone through that backwards compatible. But so I was kind of bummed when that turned out not to be true. But yeah, like Forza Horizon 4 is coming. Sea of Thieves is coming next year. State of Decay 2 is coming. So you've got a couple unusuals there. Sea of Thieves is a new IP. State of Decay 2, that's a game a lot of people are looking forward to. So there's a lot of interesting things coming out next year, but then it's the following year that's the real question mark because, yeah, you'll have Gears 5 and Forza 8, but what else are you going to have to fill in the rest of that? You know, that's where the questions come in, and I still think, and I'm still 100% sure that we're going to see a Fable game. A real Fable game, not the card game, mind you.
Which I'm hearing is just phenomenal, by the way.
That Fable card game. Yeah, like it probably is. Go buy it. It's like $11 or something.
That was sarcasm as hell.
Oh, was it? I mean,
Hey, Fiddly Diddly, this is Cletus here, and I think we should get a Forza Horizon Nuclear War Edition where you gotta outrun fucking nuclear missiles and go for holes and fucking hookers on the corner. That game would be absolutely dog diddly nabbit awesome. That's what I'm gonna say right now.
Forza Horizon maps are too small. How big was that Drive Club map, bro?
Yeah, those Drive Club maps were pretty shitty.
Yeah, you couldn't even go off the road. Shit.
That game was terrible.
Yeah,
just absolutely terrible. Oh, you know what? Did you guys see the Nintendo Switch sold almost 5 million?
Yeah,
since its launch.
Yeah,
but that's crazy.
Nostalgia,
isn't that
man.
crazy?
Fantastic.
And you got one game.
Yeah, well, they did just come out with Splatoon 2.
Yeah.
I'm not going to talk about this for long. I just thought it was interesting that they've had this thing has been severely hamstrung with shortages, and they've hit 5 million.
I mean, listen, the thing about it is this. There's a lot of things that come into play here with the Switch. First of all, you've got the Wii U was a disaster. With the Wii U being a disaster, everybody was kind of hungry again to get behind Nintendo and back them up. There's people buying it just because I don't want to give up on Nintendo. I don't want to give up on Nintendo. The other thing is Zelda. It launched with a game that's just iconic. And they're like, oh, you know what? I want to see it on the better system, even though it really didn't look much better than the Wii U, to be honest with you, because they developed for it around the same time. But I mean, my point being here is that I'm not shocked. I was actually shocked the Wii U did that bad. I'm more shocked that the Wii U did that bad than the Switch is doing well. Does that make sense to anybody? I think think about it. It's just like a lot of people have the Switch. They don't want to talk about it because I brought it back into the house because I thought that it was something that you want your family to kind of grow up and enjoy the Nintendo games that we got to enjoy when we were growing up. And Mario's going, like when we were talking about like 1 million Halos out there and 1 million Uncharteds, one of the people in the chat was really funny. They're like, no one's bringing up the 150 Mario games. It's like,
we did earlier.
Yeah. Well, no, but I'm saying like, it's true though. It is true. But as far as I'm concerned, they can make another 150 Mario games and I'll buy them. So, I mean, that's my whole thing. When Mario comes out this fall, I'm pumped. I'm pumped to play that game.
Well, here's the thing. If they have supply available, they could be at over 10 million by the end of the year, which would be great. I mean, here's the thing. Even if you're not a fan, I'm just happy that they seem to be doing well so that they can do their own thing. You know what I mean? Having them in the industry, just like Sony and Microsoft is a good thing. Like I always look at people that say, oh, I wish Microsoft would leave the gaming industry. I always look at them and kind of like scratch my head because you don't realize in how bad Sony would fuck you if that were to happen. Like you would have no choices because you would have to like no, you know what I'm saying? Like nobody would care at that point. Like people would at that particular point, like they would be able to do whatever they want and get away with it, and that would really, really kind of be a shame.
Competition is key.
Yeah, competition is absolutely key, and that is something that people need to keep in their mind as well going forward. The other bit of Nintendo news, which we don't usually talk about Nintendo news, is they had Walmart open up these fucking pre-orders for this SNES Classic, right? A bunch of people pre-ordered. Today, Walmart canceled every single one of them.
Good.
And sent everybody an email
It's
saying, "I'm
good.
sorry.
Yeah.
It's a glitch. We're sorry." Like, holy shit. Like, what is... Here's the thing. Nintendo, in one way, are geniuses. In another way, they're fucking idiots. Because they do this, right? They get everybody excited for the nostalgia. Like, Mooch, I know you want one of these things.
Oh,
I
absolutely.
want one of these things.
Yes.
You know, so, but they won't let us pre-order them. You know?
Yeah.
And they're only going to make them this year, and then next year they're going to stop making them.
Yeah.
Right? Like, don't they want money? Like,
You're
these
going to
things
get it
print
anyway.
money. I get that, but like they could make a lot. Like that NES Mini, that thing's outsold the Xbox One and PS4.
Think
1 month
about it
at
though,
NPD.
crap. In 2 years, they can sell them again, and everyone that didn't get one's gonna be like, "I need that. I missed out the first time. It's never gonna happen to me again. I'm camping out."
They're coming out with a
You know?
N64 mini after that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are because they already.
And then at the
trademarked
end,
that
they'll
shit.
come out with one that has all of them in one.
Oh, that would be pretty sweet. I mean, look, the N64 one will probably be even more because the SNES is what, $79,
Yeah.
Yep.
and then I bet the N64 they'll slowly up at $99, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
The
They
profit
come out
margin.
with
of
the
these
GameCube
things
one
is
that's the size
insane.
of the actual GameCube.
But it'll have more memory. But hey, you know what? Like, hey, more power to them. They can do this. I'm excited for it. What about this Atari box? Do you guys see any of this?
That I could care less about, but I did see it.
Hang on,
Yeah,
just
I mean,
before you
just
get
for
to the
nostalgic
Atari box
reasons, I would
full
pick it
force
up.
here, I just wanted to ask you while we were talking about the Switch or ending off on the Switch, what do you think about that god awful contraption they have set up to do like the online voice chat with Splatoon?
Yeah,
Like, oh my god.
You're
But
fucking
hey,
into the
you know,
Matrix with that
Xbox
shit.
Connect has too many cords. The old power brick was too heavy. But God forbid, you don't strangle yourself from the fucking balcony while you're trying to play a game of Mario Kart.
Hey, if I ever play Mario Kart against you guys, because I have Mario Kart, we'll just hop on Xbox Live and fucking do the party chat there. Less shit to deal with. You know what I mean? Like,
It's so true. It's so true.
yeah, it is. Like, I don't even have a phone that would support that shit. I got a Windows phone over here, so
Yeah, you're still running that non-supported Windows
That's-
phone.
Getting away from the nostalgia, that's the one thing that just keeps the Switch for me always like that third world console. You know what I mean? It's just because it's just not there. Like I got on the other day and I saw people that I have as friends on Switch, and I'm like, I can't even talk to these people. I'm like, all right, never mind. I'll just keep playing alone. Fuck it.
Yeah, you can't even send a message. You got to fucking literally call your buddy up and say, "Hey, buddy, you planning on playing Switch later?"
Yeah, you know what I mean? Exactly. You know?
hey, let me DM
Ridiculous.
Mooch real quick. Hey, Mooch, hop on the Switch. Let's play some Mario.
And I'm like, I'm
Kart,
already
bro.
there, man. I'm on there. I'm already there. Oh, all right. Well, better yet. Let's do this.
Yeah, let's do this.
Let's do this.
You know what? We had some more topics, but fuck it. We're pretty much at 2 hours. I'm gonna get some outros before Mooch DMs me going, bro. We're coming up on 10 o'clock.
It was already in the fucking slot, ready to be
I know, dude.
right there. Yep.
See that? I'm already thinking about you, man. We've already had a hell of a show, man. We had like 600 people. Hit that like button, by the way.
Yes.
I'd appreciate it. Mooch, what do you got going on, man?
Well, we've got Crossfire Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern. And I want to plug and promote. Do yourself a favor, folks. Call in, give a voicemail to MNC Mornings, and enter yourself to win that game of Fortnite on Xbox One. It's going to get the 4K treatment in November. So
Yeah,
I'm telling you, man, it's going to be great. We're going to have a
that
full
game
weekend.
is fun. That game
Yeah,
is fun. As
lot of Mooch and Crap this weekend. You've got, again, Crossfire. We've got the Mooch and Crap stream on Friday nights of Fortnite, and then MNC Mornings where we're giving away a game.
Yep,
So.
it's gonna be a damn good time.
Yes, sir.
Dealer, what do you got going on? I know you just did RDX last night. For those that didn't know,
Yeah, Real Deal Xbox podcast. As always, we appreciate the support. Last
you had
night's show,
Xbot on there.
yeah, we had Xbot 4897 on there, and it got a little crazy. So if you guys want to learn about some other topics as well as rock out with us, it's an hour show, and it's great if you guys stop by. Also, support everybody here on the show. Subscribe, follow them on Twitter. You can follow me at dealer_gaming, and of course, great topics, good show.
Hell yeah. Hellhammer, what do you got going on? Nothing much.
Yeah, not too much. I'll be back on here next week. Otherwise, you can find me on Twitter at XXLhammer or on Xbox Live XX_Hellhammer.
Yeah, that's where we can find you. He's always on there talking about how much he loves PlayStation.
Oh yeah, playing a lot of PlayStation lately. Woo!
Yeah, woo. and we've got Noof. What's up, Noof? You guys didn't. There was no console corner last night, but you got to hop in here tonight. I thank you for that.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, that was a bit of a bummer last night, but hey, things happen. You know, people have family and other commitments. You can't always make this stuff, but it is what it is. I think we may be trying to make something up tomorrow, but still, I haven't heard from She-Wolf yet on the final word. So we'll figure that one out. But anyway, guys, you can catch me, like I said, here on Wednesday nights, generally with Crapgamer and this fantastic group of people. And also, like I said, Console Corner Tuesday nights, and I'm long overdue for a video on my YouTube channel. I haven't done one in weeks now, and I'm actually kind of embarrassed to say so. I've been meaning to get around to it, just one thing after another, and I just don't get over to it. And trying to catch up on some of that backlog. Was playing Darksiders 2 yesterday, the definitive edition. Fantastic little game. Enjoying that actually, and a whole lot more. So yeah, it's been a blast as usual. Everybody hanging out with us in the chat. You guys rock, except for some of you trolls. You can fuck off. But yeah, we're good. Other than that, we're good.
Yep, good stuff. And Glitcher, man, what do you got going on?
Not much, man. Just jamming some games. I stream on Mixer. You catch me pretty much at like 7 o'clock at night. You'll hear my sidekick, my little 4-year-old, screaming at me, making fun of me. I'm jamming away on Fortnite. Other than that, posting up videos every day, spreading the good word about Xbox, and out on that stuff too as well. And I got my podcast that runs at 6 o'clock on Mondays. So if you guys want to check that out, the X Power podcast, feel free to. So that's all I really got going on. I had a great time, guys. Thank you for having me aboard.
No problem, man. Good stuff. Thank you guys for joining us. Remember to hit that like button and to come back next week, and we'll be happy to see you guys there. Rack 'em up. Have a great night.
Good night.